The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to Sarah Talk. It's political.
You could run a fucking pet rock against Donald Trump, and I would vote for the pet rock.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right
Yeah.
Critical.
One of the things that drives me nuts as an atheist is that my polling location is at a church. And I don't necessarily have a problem. I'm not going to like burst into flames walking into a church.
After being on this show and having heard your viewpoints on some things, my advice to you is don't test this. I won't burst into flames.
And positively LGBT positive.
In many states, you can still be evicted from housing simply for being gay or transgender. Stand and fight with us.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
Oh, they're shutting us down. They're deplatforming us. I do a pretty good Alex Jones voice. We're turning the frogs gay.
Okay, you're sleeping in the child's room tonight because there's no way you're sleeping next to me. That is disgusting. I'm going to have nightmares.
And now, from Orlando, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Speaking of nightmares, we have the nightmare set up in the studio tonight. Ooh. I know Halloween's over. Look, I get it. But I figured this was appropriate for the conversation tonight. We're talking about Satan. Okay, that was enough.
That was it?
Yeah, that was
Really?
a good bit.
Oh my God.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, fine. You should have prepared more.
Sorry. We I hired an entire team of oh, you're going to miss the joke. What are you doing? my entire team. We hired an entire team of stage crew because Halloween's over now, so we can get rid of all of this shit and bring in the Christmas tree now, and then we'll be good to go.
It's on its way.
It's time? Okay.
I contacted Amazon. Not really.
All right. So so last week we talked about the two middle school girls in Bartow, which is not far from here. They were arrested in a school bathroom planning to carry out knife killings of other students so they could drink their blood, eat their flesh, and, in their minds at least, sin so badly that when they killed themselves, they'd go to hell and be with Satan, whom they worship. We mentioned during that story that a local member of the Church of Satan responded to this news with a letter to the local paper, and I figured rather than just read that response, we'd just invite Satan herself into the studio.
That would be me.
Woohoo.
Magistra Ygraine, welcome to SarahTalk.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks
I'm
for
happy to
coming
be
in.
here.
This is going to be so much fun.
I'm
love
excited.
this. Yeah, I love this.
This
It's so
is good.
great. Before we get into this this local story a little bit more, let's learn a little bit more about you. Were you raised in a supernatural faith tradition, God belief?
Actually, I was raised by atheists.
Really?
Yep.
Score.
Yep. And I was fascinated and lonely, actually, every Sunday seeing all the families go off to church. And I didn't understand it. I didn't know what they were doing. And so I started at a very young age. I read the Bible, and I would go to temple with some friends and family, or I would go to church with some other friends and family. I was absolutely fascinated by religion. Always was.
Huh. That's interesting.
I did not expect that.
Right. Did your were you encouraged to study different religions, even, being raised atheist?
Yeah, I mean, my dad had been raised Catholic. In fact, went up through his second year of college at a Catholic university, and then moved from Iowa to New York, and that took about 30 seconds to fix him. And, and my mother was raised by a Jew and the son of an evangelist, Baptist theologian, as a matter of fact. And they were in the theater, so frankly, there were so many different kinds of people in the New York theater scene that theater essentially becomes your religion.
Yeah.
So, she wasn't, but she picked up on 1 week we were eating macrobiotics and doing yoga and, everything that entailed. And the next week we were, I went to a Quaker boarding school. I was exposed to both Jewish and Christian family of all stripes. So yeah, I was exposed a lot. Everyone thought I would get over it, and yeah, I pretty much did. And it wasn't, later on after studying all this, the only thing I felt I lacked was that faith thing. I was envious, unaware that it was actually giving up my own personal power.
Yeah.
I was envious at people who could find solace in talking to the air as far as I could see. I was really envious.
Yeah.
And so I looked for something that I didn't feel that, was a compromise too much, but also I didn't like the real patriarchal view of God. I kept saying, how can we ever find real equality if the image of the creator is a singular male entity? I mean, because the whole in our own image thing stuck with me. So the first real detour I took from straight up atheism was Wicca and neo-paganism. And I spent almost 12 years in that, and then something strange happened. And I started noticing as it became more popular, I call it the Jesus with tits phenomenon. It's when people, get out, they do all the same things they would have done to a god, to a goddess. And you're begging, you're doing things to appease, all the things that I thought I was avoiding. And I actually met some genuine Church of Satan members. A few years later, I was brought as a guest to the Black House in San Francisco, met Dr. LaVey, spent 2 or 3 days out there. And although I didn't join for several years after that, because I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's just too much of a, you know what I mean? Oh, I went to the Black House and then I came out a Satanist. Woohoo! So I fought my own nature for a really long time, but I kept reading their work and meeting the people, and it was the only place I felt completely and utterly at home. An atheistic religion that incorporated the archetypes and metaphors I was already happy with and familiar with without giving them undue power and not taking away from my own.
Well, hold on. Wait. You're not... I prepared babies to eat tonight. Are you saying that we're not going to eat a baby?
No baby.
God damn it.
No, I mean, unless it's veal.
I was
prepared.
I thought.
Nice answer.
Well, okay, so yeah, obviously the Church of Satan isn't about worshiping Satan at all, right?
No, it really isn't. We like that kind of Paradise Lost motif. I refuse to kneel. I have pride. I won't serve you anywhere because that means giving up my own accomplishments. That's the attitude. But what Dr. LaVey came up with is apparently people, despite our evolution or lack thereof, depending, we still seem to appreciate ritual, dogma, fellowship, the things that really make a church, those things. But that doesn't mean we need a God.
Right.
We can embrace all those things through psychodrama, through ritual. We can embrace those things and have the fellowship and have the ritual and have a dogma that says this is how we're going to live without having to get on our knees. And of course, without a deity, there is no reason for a sacrifice ever.
Yep.
No point in it. I mean, who are you doing it for?
Right.
Makes no sense.
What about the people who say, because that's a common complaint, right? One of the things when people leave, particularly people who are leaving a faith background, the church does a great job at community and all of that. And when you leave that, like you really are leaving a community and a family and the people who are gonna, help you when you're down and bring you soup when you're sick and fix your porch and stuff like that, right? And then what do you have? You have nothing. There are some people out there who would say, I wouldn't get involved in anything that even resembles a church. If it has church in the name, I don't want anything to do with it because I'm over it. That kind of that angry atheist phase when you first come out, maybe.
Absolutely.
Or that they just look at the organization. We'll get into that. about how the structure works. But are there atheists who look at this and say, like, I don't know that we need to church it up, Like I left that. That's what I was trying to get away from. Why can't we just get together for coffee on,
No reason why we can't.
every Sunday? Right. Exactly. Exactly.
We don't recruit. We don't proselytize. We don't minister, outreach, any of those things. What we do is rely on our canon. We've got the Satanic Bible. We've got 7 books, actually, that comprise our religious canon, and we have a couple of documents as well that are considered church law. You read them, you either immediately identify or you don't. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean you're a bad person who we can't be friends with. It's how we have determined that first of all, we know we're always going to be a minority religion. That doesn't flake us out too badly. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Obviously, the vast majority of people need a God with specific rules to tell them not to go kill their neighbor or steal their junk.
That scares the fuck out of me.
Doesn't it, though?
Yes.
And I'm told that constantly. It's like, well, what do you do? And I was like, how do you think we got out of the trees? What is wrong with you that you don't have some sort of natural inclination not to do these things and you need to see a plaque? I mean, it's just an issue. Yeah. But Satanists, we have a phrase, are born, not made. What we are can't be turned into. And when you actually meet a grouping who come from such incredibly diverse backgrounds, are completely diverse politically, gender-wise, orientation-wise, and yet there is this weird bond that we automatically relate to, and it can't be created. It either exists or it doesn't, and that's okay. I mean, it's not like that means you're a shit person. It just means you're not this kind of person.
Yeah. Let's talk about the distinction here in the letter written in response to the Ledger. Quote, "We applaud the members of both law enforcement and the media who have used the term Satan worshippers rather than Satanists. Many do not realize there is a sharp distinction, and in terms of crime, knowing that distinction can have an impact on an investigation success." End quote. So it's an atheistic position, right? We don't really believe in Satan any more than we believe in a God or anything supernatural. So break down that distinction for us a little bit, the Satan worshipers versus Satanists.
Well, as I just said, a Satanist is somebody who has read the various literature that comprises the Church of Satan, but originally LaVey's book, The Satanic Bible, and his formation of the church in 1966. Prior to that, there was never an organized, or even as far as we can find, a disorganized group of people who self-identified as Satanists. All we know is that was a pejorative, right? Look at those Satanists, right? It was never embraced. He was the first. We're very, very, very possessive over that title because it had never been done before. He wrote a Bible for it, formed a church for it. We are his legacy. That's ours. Now, as we said, it was atheistic. A Satan worshiper is a Christian variant. You have to believe in the Christian version of Satan, and therefore that he is the opposer of the Christian version of God. You believe the whole spiel, but you've just decided, well, you know what? I haven't gotten whatever I was supposed to get out of God, or he's not listening to me, or whatever. So I'm just going to root for the bad guy.
No. Satan was the good guy. I read that book.
Yeah, I know. He offered up knowledge. I mean, How demented do you have to be to decide that was a sin?
Right.
Listen, God told you if you eat that, you'll die. He's lying to you. Satan's the good guy.
And
period.
His followers are still telling people, no, just listen to what we say. You don't have to do your own research.
Yeah.
Well, the Hebrew word was just that. It was a word. It wasn't it wasn't a name, and it meant the opposer, the accuser, the adversary.
Yep.
And we have adopted that as we are the opposer and the accuser and the adversary to the status quo. If everyone else is on their knees, the Satanist stands. And that's just the way it is, which we thought was one of the few metaphors in that book that didn't make you completely sick. And so we We enjoy that. But a Satan worshiper literally believes, and they may not go for the horns and all, but they believe there is an entity that has expansive energy into the world we all live in, and that he has some sort of power over the likes of us, which, of course, then begs the question, going back to, so did God create him? No. Well, then if God wasn't, never mind. I mean, at that point, you're just running in circles, but logic has never been their strong suit. And they want some sort of reward for living. And I thought living was its own reward. I mean, I don't understand what exactly it is that you're going to get from a God that you can't get for yourself. So anyway, so Satan worshipers, of which there are very few, at least any that would be dangerous.
Right.
But any crimes that we have found that have that whole SRA thing, without fail, it hasn't been a Satanist. It has been somebody who believes in the devil, and that the devil made him do it. Lucky them. It's always nice to have a scapegoat, don't you think?
Co-founder of the Satanic Temple, Lucian Graves, different organization, we'll get into that, made a similar statement to Rolling Stone about this school thing. Quote, "I'm sure it will be established that these girls held no active role in any established form of religious Satanism, the major sects of which today are non-theistic, humanistic, and anti-superstitious. Their distorted perspective of what Satanism is and their apparent supernatural belief in what Satan wants is almost certainly the product of a Christian upbringing." And that echoes something that I mentioned last week, I think it was, when we talked about this story, which was, I laid some blame at the foot of the cross for this incident that happened, because again, if there were no God, then there would be no Satan. Had this monstrous religion and book have not been in existence in the first place, then we wouldn't have had a Satan. We wouldn't have had a need for a Satan, and they wouldn't have this twisted view of, what all of that is. So I think the very idea of this Satan worship nonsense has to come straight from Christianity. I agree.
Well, we sure aren't peddling it. And what's more, we don't allow membership to anyone under 18 anyway.
Oh, that's so good.
Nice.
So good.
No. And Mr. Graves, I am really impressed by that quote. And considering I don't care for him, that says a lot. I don't care for him at all, because very simply, the Church of Satan has established a position where the organization refuses to take any political position, be it candidate, issue, or party, for the simple reason we're a church of individuals. And we also pay our taxes. Okay, we are trying to maintain the separation of church and state. To do that, you don't go purposely, I don't know, freaking the mundanes out for shits and giggles, which is what we believe. We believe he's a political organization who knew that his stuff is already represented, and the only way to get attention would be calling themselves Satanists. And he's been successful, but it's really been a pain in our ass because it's in direct violation to everything we've always done. And but that's one hell of a good quote. I can't fault the bastard at all.
And maybe this is the distinction between the way the way you talk about your organization versus the way things the organization does, and that is, I kind of like that there's someone out there pushing back against the Ten Commandments monuments or whatever. To say, okay, fine, look, you want to have your religious monument. This is what separation of church and state means to our Constitution, which is if you allow one, then you must allow the others.
And I get that, but I have a different view. And that is, frankly, if you're acknowledging that you're raising people too stupid to know not to kill, maybe we need a plaque.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you are acknowledging that you're raising dependent morons who need a list, of which only like 3 or 4 of those are. I mean, where is "Thou shalt not rape"?
I was getting ready to say,
Where is
speaking
"Thou
of
shalt-"
lists,
it's all about kissing God's ass, and you would think that God could have pre-programmed us to kiss his ass since he's a.
yeah, it was written on your hearts. I
Yeah.
read that part too.
Yeah, that's.
God's law was written on your heart.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so speaking of top 10 lists, the Church of Satan has the 11 satanic rules of the earth, which I think is fantastic.
Yep.
I will read them. Do not give opinions or advice unless you are asked.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? Do not tell your troubles to others unless you are sure they want to hear them. Uh-huh.
Because everyone likes a crybaby.
Yep. When in another's lair, show him respect, or else do not go there.
I love the use of the
Lair.
word lair.
Yeah.
Isn't it fabulous?
I love it.
I actually owned a store called the Dragon's Lair.
Oh, that's great.
Perfect.
Yeah, you got to theater it up a little bit
Yeah.
to fit the. Yeah.
Because
Fit
lair
the
isn't
theme.
weird enough on its own.
If a guest in your lair annoys you, treat him cruelly and without mercy.
I
In
like
my
that.
house.
Yeah,
Check with the program.
that's true.
Do not make sexual advances unless you are given the mating signal.
Ooh, what's the mating signal?
Well, it's unique to each individual, I'm sure.
I think the point there is if you aren't sure,
Then you
do
probably,
it.
No.
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. I like it.
Do not take that which does not belong to you unless it is a burden to the other person and he cries out to be relieved.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
Excellent.
Yep, it's a good one. Acknowledge the power of magic if you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will lose all you have obtained.
That's an iffy one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Everyone's
what's with
kind
the
of questioning-
magic-y?
Well,
Yeah.
let's
Tell me.
translate that to if you've prayed to God and you've asked God for something and he gives it to you. What is 100% almost of all Christians do?
Praise God.
They go back and do whatever they do. They say thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. And then they go back out and do the exact same stupid shit again.
Yep.
Right. Which, now conceptually, what we consider magic is using both psychological manipulation for ourselves and for others, utilizing energy to create change. Now, if the change is as simple as I'm feeling downtrodden or somebody's really picking on me and I can't get out from under this. I've talked to them. I've done everything I can possibly do and they just won't stop and they're really out to get me. Well, I can tell you from personal experience, making shit go boom, like, in a candlelit room and saying Hail Satan gives you a feeling, especially when you know that what you're really talking to is your own psyche. That's absolutely without boundaries the best thing you can possibly do. We are taught, especially in this society, forgive everyone, they didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. But just to have the ability, it's like primal scream therapy. It's just that. And if you're lucky enough to do that with a grouping of people who you genuinely care about, you can feel the kinetic energy in a room. And if you believe that perhaps that can be focused and directed, maybe it can. I mean, let's face it, today's science was yesterday's magic.
Right.
Who knows
Yeah.
what we're going to determine 20 years from now. So, yeah, continue. Hey, I know it's your
Carry
show,
on.
but let me tell you what to do.
Where are we at? Number 8? Number 8?
We just did
Yes,
magic,
number 8.
yeah.
Do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself.
That's
Okay.
a common thing
Yeah.
for every human alive.
Here's the one God missed. Do not harm little children.
Oh,
We're at a whole list of 10 things. Love me. I'm the best.
yeah.
Don't forget about me. Don't make any other false me's.
False me's.
Don't steal. Kind of be a good guy. Don't fuck little kids. Didn't make the list.
Didn't make the list. It wasn't in the top 10.
Darn.
Judging from his first and most
This is why
successful
religion
church,
can't
I'm
have a
guessing
nice
it
thing.
didn't make the
Right.
list at all.
Didn't make the list in any version of the 10 Commandments because there wasn't just one, but still didn't make the list. on the rewrite. Number 10, do not kill non-human animals unless you are attacked or for your food. I think that's great too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They don't mention that one either.
No.
Nope.
Well, they would.
No, they
okay.
want animal sacrifices and
Right, you got to kill a goat.
Leviticus is like the most
slaughter story.
It's an amazing, huge barbecue. Like,
yeah.
everything is burnt. I don't even. It's like, isn't that just called cooking?
It's
Or
called.
did they have to validate it somehow? I don't know. It's crazy.
An apologist would probably try to argue, no. It says thou shalt not kill. That would be the apologist argument. And finally, when walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him to stop. If he does not stop, destroy him.
And just like we're all saying, I'm going to destroy this whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, given the other rules there, that Dr. LeVay didn't actually want us to go and do anything really bad. But how do I feel like I destroyed you?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, social media has made that frighteningly easy. And
No
but
kidding.
it really has. It's scary. But the point is, I'm not bothering you, and I'm going to ask you politely.
Mm-hmm.
And most times we'll even ask 3, 4, 5 times politely. But if you keep pushing me, I am not one of these people to forgive and forget. That is part of the satanic nature. One of the things I've noticed is we can hold a grudge, like hard.
Mm-hmm.
And because we don't believe God will judge us for
Right.
that, we have the freedom to say, yeah, I hate your guts. Hate is not something we just dismiss.
Mm-hmm.
Provided it has a purpose. You know, you don't hate people because of color or I mean, that's
Right.
just dumb shit. But somebody goes out of their way to hurt you. Why shouldn't I hate them? They obviously are doing a swell job of hating me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now could that be circular? Yeah, but that's where ritual comes in, or whatever other method you use.
Right, and if you're following, science-based methods, you go to your therapist and you say, I'm angry.
all the
That's-
time,
that-
I can't fix it.
That is a legitimate emotion. That's it is okay to have that. If it is self-destructive, that's a problem. But if you can channel that into good things, great. There are ways to work through that. Like that the idea of certain emotions are just taboo, bad things is a distinctly Christian idea.
Well, again, it's frankly because of the huge amount of hatred they have that they try to repress and then throw at God as an example for. They believe the only solution, therefore, is forgiveness. Of course, that keeps everybody in the loop with the plate going. So I guess it does have a certain
Yep.
je ne sais quoi.
And you can't have forgiveness without another sacrifice. So the final sacrifice. Sorry, that was a real bad joke. So there are other supplementary sort of documents to the
There's
Satanic
those,
Bible, right?
yeah. Those are the rules of the earth. We also have 9 satanic sins, including things like stupidity and pretentiousness, and and then we have something called 5-point pentagonal revisionism, which are kind of, when everyone says, "What's the church's agenda?"
Oh God. The
And
agenda.
at least finally we have an answer. I mean, it's like we have these 5 points we think about. I wouldn't quite label them an agenda, but they are certainly things we would like to see. None of them infringe on your rights, so you can shut up now. But a real agenda is, as a church of individuals, is you can't define it because everybody's is their own. What I want is not what, my friend next door wants. And to try to define happiness for a mass group of people strikes me as kind of just diminishing what people are capable of. And I don't, again, I was raised by atheists. I don't get so much. And I've studied this shit till I'm blue in the face. And I still don't understand the vast majority of people. I mean, I do from a psychological viewpoint, but those words are only definitions. I don't feel, I just,
Right.
I'm always walking around looking like a terrier with my head cocked to one side, like, what?
Well, the beauty of that is that you kind of line up with most atheists in that you've read more of it than the believers have. You've
Yeah,
studied
funny that.
more of it than the believers have. Your average, Joe Christian in the pew on Sunday has not read cover to cover done
the
any
Bible
kind of
ever.
study, right? So they just take what's fed to them from the pulpit, and that's my God, and that's how you end up with people who are, who believe that God is love, but haven't heard about all of the atrocities that that God has done to people. And,
Well, that's the devil.
oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Because,
Sure.
yeah.
The good guy.
I want to jump back for a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can't see me through the
I can see
cobwebs.
half of you
I
through
was
the
raising my
cobwebs.
finger and you just
Oh
piled
no, I
right
didn't
over.
see that.
I want to go back to, you were talking about defining happiness for massive groups of people. And I just clung to that because I see a lot of statistics and studies of the high rates of depression within the people that are religious, people that claim to have a faith. It seems like there's a lot of that. And I think, I maybe it's just me. But I think that for a lot of people that might come from, you're not finding what makes you happy in the church. You're being told this should make you happy. This should make you happy.
Exactly.
And it doesn't. And so you feel empty and it leads to depression and
I have an ex-mother-in-law who once, after this woman smiles so rarely, but she once said to me, and I swear just in this voice, I wish you knew the love and happiness Jesus fills me with. And I literally had to run from the room because I was doing one of, I just was like,
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, if that's what it does to you, how do you
I
get
don't
that
want that.
fixed?
Right.
I gave her a Percocet and she was much nicer 2 hours later. But she really was.
Yeah.
But she was like, where do you get the, never mind, that's a whole other problem, but I think there's also a guilt feeling. What's wrong with me
Oh, yeah.
that I don't feel this? So I'm going to double down
Yeah,
on it. I'm
exactly.
going to say I feel it, and maybe I'll fake it till I feel it.
Exactly.
And if it's not, because people aren't the same. There are people who will never be happy with anything other than like great riches. And then of course they're probably not going to be happy then either. But who knows? They might, if you're materialistic enough. And then there are people who are happy just puttering around their houses, and you know what? It won't be the same thing forever either. As you age, shit changes. But the idea that we are supposed to be grateful to a God who, if you people are telling me the truth, allows such incredible pain to innocent people and such horrible things happen. If he was omnipotent, he's a dick.
Yep.
I want no part of that. And I don't blame these people for feeling empty. I give my money every week. I'm guaranteed a place in heaven. But in return, I have to question my fellow man constantly. I have to stick my nose in their business where it doesn't belong.
Yep.
I can't jump through hoops like that. I've got to just be. Just let me be.
Yeah.
But yeah, happiness is so individualistic. And it's one of the things about the church that's interesting is I'm an anomaly. I've been doing advocacy since I was about 17 years old for alternative religions and lifestyles, right? That's what I'd always done. And I brought that with me to the church, and I got steadily recognized and given the next title up. That is a huge oddity. In what we look for promotions in our organization is how you're doing in the real world, and not by the traditional standards, but by your own. Let's say your whole life you just wanted to build skateboards. That's all you want, blah, blah, blah. If you manage to do that well and you're happy, you are completely, you never have to mention Satanism, and you could be promoted within the organization. We take the time to get to know our members. If they choose to be active, there's a huge active membership application, and mine's so old that I have no idea what I said, but I'm sure it's like cringeworthy.
Oh, that'd be fun. Let's
Yeah, come on.
No.
Oh.
I'll do the late show bit where turns out we actually have a copy already. No, I'm kidding. We don't.
Wouldn't that be
I
great?
would drive directly to Black House North and go show some people no mercy almost immediately. It would be horrible. But
Wait, now you're in our lair, so.
I'm showing you respect. I'm threatening them.
Oh, okay, all right.
But that's the thing. I mean, for everyone, it's different. What will satisfy you, and how did you go about getting it? How did you apply satanic principles? How did you, those are more interesting than get, baptized, confirmed, whatever the by rote shit is, or another,
Yeah.
or in other organizations that claim to be satanic, and again, we don't acknowledge them as such, but even there, it's, gee, how well did you represent our religion? Well, first of all, it's not your religion, and second of all, so you read some books and you can spit the shit out. Good for you. Yay. Here, have a priest collar. You know what? Now you're exactly like the guy you just wanted to run from. Great. And that's not what we want to be.
Yeah.
You're the best guest I've ever had in the studio. I'm not asking any of these questions, and she's answering them.
Sorry.
No,
Are you
that's perfect.
psychic?
That's
Are you
so
psychic
good.
too?
No.
Careful. I was going to say, careful what claims you make.
I'm experienced. That's what I am.
I will. I'll drop in here while we're talking about that. We're going to do a midweek show. We haven't talked about this yet. We're going to do a midweek show next week. I'm recording with Objectively Dan on Tuesday, and he is in large part the product of an interaction with Anthony Magnabosco in street epistemology. And so we're going to have him on the show. Are you familiar with street epistemology?
I know what the two words
love
mean. I'm
street
going to put
epistem-
it. I didn't know it was a thing.
Oh, it's such a thing.
So good. It's so good.
So let me tell you. So Anthony Magnabosco is probably one of the more well-known people who's doing this practice. And this comes out of Peter Boghossian's book, Manual for Creating Atheists.
Okay, that I know.
It's a Socratic questioning process to help people inspect their beliefs, right? And so Anthony straps on a GoPro and he goes and stands out at like public parks. And he started out at the Alamo, which was a bad choice. There's a lot of street preachers there.
Balloon. Lead balloon.
He goes to college campuses and he just flags people down. Hey, do you have 5 minutes to chat about a belief that you have? And it can be anything. It can be God. It can be karma. If you even atheistic positions, I'm confident there is no God is a perfect belief to address with street epistemology. I've seen a ghost. It could be a political position, like anything that's just a deeply held belief that you believe is real. Particularly the supernatural stuff works really well. But if it informs who you are, those are the best, right?
Right.
We spend 5 minutes asking what, why, and how questions to understand why you believe what you believe and how you got to the conclusion that what you believe is true, and is that a reliable method? And when the best of those videos is always a God believer, in my opinion. I watch them for yourself and choose your favorites, but I love the God believers because...
Do you watch Trainwrecks too?
Yeah. Because they and the beauty of it, it's non-confrontational, right? It's all about I'm neutral. I'm going to ask you questions.
It's a very respectful
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, versus the debate, apologetic, counter-apologetic, back and forth that nobody moves on their position. But this says, okay, what's the main reason why you believe that this thing is true that you believe? And they may give you the Bible. They may give you, I was raised in it, right? But by and large, it always comes back to faith at some point.
It has to, because what else could it come to?
Right. So, because it's the Bible, right? I believe the Bible is the Word of God. Okay, well, if, and I'm not saying I can do this, if it can be demonstrated to your satisfaction that the Bible is not reliable in some way, would that change your confidence in the belief in your God? Well, no, of course not. I still believe, even if the Bible would, because it's Satan or whatever. Okay, well, then that wasn't the most important reason why you believe. Let's keep digging. What else is there, right? And it usually comes back to faith.
It has to. It's the only thing that, because there is nothing else.
So then there are a couple of really great questions that you can introduce to inspect faith. Is there anything else in your life besides this belief in the God that you use faith to conclude is true? Generally, no. Right? Some people will say, well, I'm going to sit down in this chair. I have faith that it's not going to fall down. Well, is that faith? Or, I mean, you've seen the chair. Maybe you can, touch the chair and give it a shake, and like there's evidence that you can use too. It's not just faith. And if you're just using faith, and if we bring you into the room, there's a blindfold on, you can't see anything, and I tell you there's a chair behind you and you sit down, that's some faith. Is there a possibility that faith could lead you to the incorrect conclusion? Could you fall on your ass? Are you sure there's a chair under you? And then you introduce the outsider test for faith. The outsider test for faith is, look, I talked to a Muslim woman a couple of weeks ago, and she's confident that Allah is the one true God, and that Muhammad rode to heaven on a winged horse. And she uses faith to get there. She was raised in it. She has a holy text. She has all the things that you just told me that you have. But her faith led her to this different God. How can we know which one of you is more correct in the belief? It's the greatest thing ever. I swear to God, if you're not watching Anthony Magnabosco's videos, they're just so good. And so that was a long story to tell you this story. So Dan was one of these kids that Anthony happened upon in the quad at this college. And he pulls Dan over. Dan was a leader in Crew, which is a Christian leadership group or study group in campuses. It's a college Christian group. And he was a leader. He was like leading class, teaching people. And he was a pretty confident God believer. And through that conversation, it shook his faith and made him question what he believed. And that was 2015. And now he's hosting a new show on the atheist community of Austin's series of channels that's called Truth Wanted, where he invites people to call in and do street epistemology with them. It's so good. So that's next Tuesday, we're going to do a midweek episode.
You guys
with
are
him.
getting all these
It's gonna be
midweek
so
episodes.
Good. And I have invited some people to come in or call in with Dan and do some role play, practice the street epistemology thing, because I think it's fun to see that demonstration like happen in real time. So if you're out there and you have a particular belief, again, it can be a God belief. It can be a like hard atheist. There are no gods. I know there are no gods, right? Gnostic atheist. Mm-hmm. A political position. I've seen a ghost. I believe in magic. All of that. Anything. Energy healing. Whatever. Anything that you have a belief on. If you want to be a part of that show, let us know. I think that'll be a fun time.
I just hate those two words: belief and faith.
Yep.
I mean, I use them because they
Right.
have meaning and stuff. But if I have to respond when someone says, "How do you know?"
Mm-hmm.
If either of those words enter into it, I have to question myself. I mean, and that's something I don't think people are taught in churches.
Right.
No.
Unless it's question yourself to see if you have fallen prey to or give, but I don't think they're taught.
They're taught faith is a good thing, and that's not.
I don't find it so.
No.
And I all right, I have faith that my partner loves me.
Right, but
Yeah.
But there are actions to back that.
Right.
exactly. You have
Yeah.
evidence too.
Right,
Right.
exactly. I mean, that was my first thought when you said that. How would I answer that? And that was the only
Yeah.
thing I could come up with.
Yep.
But then I realized all the things that he does for me, so therefore,
Right.
so no.
If
Right.
you can find an
Bites.
abundance of
Right.
evidence
Still
to
not
prove
faith.
it, then yeah.
Do that whole Luke Skywalker thing with the shoulder and the faith thing.
Okay, so let's move on here. So admittedly, we live in a very politically red county. Church on every corner. Many of them are polling places, by the way. I'm still pissed off about
So
that.
annoying.
That's why we vote early at the library. I'm not going to go on this rant again, but I'm
I
over
voted
it.
yesterday
Tired.
at the community
Yeah.
center. Yep.
Yeah.
Myself.
Are you out about your affiliation with the Church of Satan or your atheism or both? And how's that working out for you here in God country?
Well, again, I was 17 when I started being a witch, back when even Wicca was seen as devil worship.
Oh yeah.
And I owned 3 stores that were vandalized and had an FBI. I mean, I have spent a lifetime doing this. This is what I do. So yeah, I'm out. However, when I moved to Polk County from, I was living in Brooklyn.
What a change.
No shit.
Jesus.
But I had lived on the coast in Port St. Lucie for almost 12 years prior to
okay.
that. I'm a native New Yorker. I grew up in the city in Westchester County, which is, again, very different from here. But I actually spent about 12 years not leaving my house. I was so overwhelmed by the backwardsness here that I literally, I became almost agoraphobic. The only places I went were to my church functions and to things like this, just doing my job. But beyond that, I had to raise 4 of my 5 kids here, going to public school here. And after seeing what it had been like for the older children in Port St. Lucie, I was a whole lot more. If it was bad there and I looked around here, no. But I mean, now people know, but I generally try to let them get to know me as a person before they get to know what it is I do and what I think. I find if at that point they choose not to be around me or they have a bad reaction,
that's on them.
Then that's on them. I mean, I was raised in a household with incredible manners and how one is supposed to behave, and and I take those kinds of civility really, really, really seriously, and I will always extend them to anyone I meet, no matter what I'm anticipating. But if you're a dick to me when you get to know me and then you find out you don't like my religion, well, you know what? That says more about you than it ever will about me. And
for sure.
Yeah. And like I said, the church doesn't have any political position. So when I go on, I actually have I live on alter egos. I got like 4 of them. I'm not shitting you. I really do. I have the one that was the singer, and I have the one that, everyone knew me in high school. And then I have this one, which is pretty much the one that I use the most because it's the one that's me. But then because of the church's position on politics and my incredibly hardwired feelings about politics, I created a whole another alter ego again, so that nobody would be confused that I was speaking for the Church of Satan. When I'm speaking politics, I'm speaking for me as a mother, as a regular human being who has to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
And so that's yet another part of me. But
you need to have your alter ego on.
Well, we're going to switch those
time.
hats after the break. Yeah, exactly.
We'll get you a wig and
I'll do one of those,
One of the things that I've been wanting to do here, and I created a group on Facebook, and I'm letting it slowly kind of grow, is that community building thing, right? To be an atheist in a rural red place like this is not easy. It's not easy to find each other. Again, I said, like with this group, like I can do a basic Facebook search, but if you don't have atheist, agnostic, etc., whatever in your profile, I'm not going to find you.
Neither are the nutbags, which is why they do it.
Exactly.
And I can understand why you don't. But at the same time, I would love to be able to get together on a Sunday for brunch. A couple times a month, maybe. So anyway, I've created this. If you're listening from Polk County, go look up Polk County Atheist, Humanist, whatever I called it. I don't remember. I'm going to change it at some point. But anyway, there's a Facebook.
There's some commitment.
That's directed.
There's a Facebook group. And I would love to. I'm kind of looking at templates from the atheist community of Austin and the way they're structured. They built a library called Free Thought Library, and that's where their studio is, and they do all these shows from. Oh, it's so good.
That is so good.
But they've been around for decades, but also the Central Florida Free Thought community, which is a pretty big group and very active. And they do a thing where every week they go to a different town in their circle and meet up and have coffee and whatnot.
The need for a scapegoat is so huge that we get shit on by the atheists too. I mean, and I was saying to a friend yesterday, I can feel this. This is starting to smell a lot like the beginning of the Satanic Panic.
Oh, God.
It really is.
Yes.
And what we saw then, and that was only, frankly, that was nothing. That was a bunch of people upset at a peanut farmer, and that things were getting too kind to other people. But when both the left and the right are this much at each other's throats, Well, I think one thing they can all agree on is that devil worshippers and Satanists should be thrown under the bus.
Jesus.
And then we have American Horror Story doing their shit, and I guarantee you those Bartow girls saw that shit. Dollars to donuts. And they've stolen our book, they've stolen the name of our founder, they've stolen all that stuff. And then they don't even do us, they do them. It was just unaware apparently, or uncaring that, Dr. LeVay left a partner, children, people who, this amazing reconstruction of atheism as something that can be religious. This individualistic icon is turned into a raving nutbag killer. And we're all still here going, oh, thanks a lot, assholes. It's not, we also don't blame other people for the actions of other people.
Right.
But I can certainly see where this is going. Been there, done that, got hurt, bad.
Yep.
Don't want to do it again. And I think we're starting to smell that. Let's find the scapegoat. And even the atheists in some groups, like there was a meetup group that had a humanists and atheists welcome. And in parentheses, no Satanists.
Oh my God.
And I was like, all right, okay. What am I going to put?
See, this is what pisses me off. Because, and I have heard some speakers in the atheist community, I have heard some groups who communicate this very well. And that is this. That I am atheist tells you one thing about me. Only one. It's the answer to the God question. I do not believe in a God. That's it.
That's all
it doesn't tell you anything else. Now, humanism tells you maybe something else that I believe in, and Satanism can tell you something else, things that I believe in. If it's marketed well and communicated properly, which I think is a big challenge, right? Because people have this crazy satanic panic thing in their mind still, which is stupid.
Dumb. So
how much of it is, how much of it is a PR game and just doing things like this and getting out there and telling people like, no, no babies, no sacrifices, science.
We thought we were done with that shit. And that's what's really irritating.
Yeah.
We thought we had gotten that far. We even got the Wiccans who used to, and I even wrote a thing that's in the Encyclopedia of American Religion at Santa Barbara. I wrote it in 92 or 93 about when I left Wicca, where I wrote an apology to all the Satanists I had met and all the ones I hadn't met yet, that when I owned my first store and I was a Wiccan and they came, everybody in the world came and interviewed me because it was 1989. No one knew what the fuck I was. Yep. They all showed up in their interview and they'd be like, well, is it true witches, do this and do that? And my ignorant need to have it not be us. Was to say, no, we wouldn't do that. That's the Satanists. And that's even started to change drastically, but still there's at least that need to scapegoat is apparently hardwired in a large amount of the population. And if you think that you can get a societal pat on the head by throwing some other bastard under the bus, that's alive and well. And especially now with everyone pissed off 24/7.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, to wrap up the community thing, you're more than welcome in the community I'm trying to build.
I like that. That'd be fun.
That seems obvious to me. Again, if you're, the question is, do you believe in a God? And if the answer is no. Welcome.
Right, it's easy.
And
it's like a secret handshake. It's great.
And we can, we can sit down and have adult conversations and fair debate about other things. Like those things can be discussed in good company and with good faith, and that's lacking in the political climate right now. We're all screaming at our camps, and we got to do less of that shit. But it's hard. It's hard.
Too hard. No, I've got to scream about kids in cages. Okay,
yes,
there's no way I'm going to discuss that rationally.
Things. Right.
I can't. There's
right.
But there are things that, I don't know if you've read Rick Wilson's book, Everything Trump Touches Dies. And he was the
great.
Republican strategist behind, even some people I really dislike, Marco Rubio. I mean, he was a shit disturber of epic proportions, but he was also one of the first never Trumpers, and he has got a wonderfully acidic tongue. And he goes through all these things and talks about how, that this isn't conservatism. It doesn't bear any resemblance to, the fiscal responsibility, the free and open, to all the things. But he also mentioned, look, one thing we've got to just accept is, liberals are going to be anti-gun in whatever method or measure they are, and conservatives are always going to be pro-life. If we could find some way to work out those two things, we might be able to talk about other shit. But we can't, because those are such cornerstone belief. And they usually come from, at least certainly the abortion issue comes more from, a God-based thing. But, we're always convinced they want to take away all the abortion. They're convinced we want to take away every gun. Nobody listens to the other side when they say, look, dude, it's more kind of like this, because those are where the lines have been drawn. And I don't know how you find common ground about anything else when those things are so incredibly visceral to people.
It's scary because it reminds me of a child throwing a temper tantrum. We have an 8-year-old. And if I so much as say, if you continue down this path, you're going to lose your Xbox, he acts like he's already lost his Xbox. But that's...
It's self-fulfilling.
Right?
Right.
But that's the behavior I see in politics today. It's like, no, we just want to talk about what's going on.
The liberals want to take all your guns away.
Right. It's just crazy to me because it's like, we're adults. Why can't we act like adults? I expect it from a child.
Because we're seeing, honestly, I think the answer is because we're seeing shit we never thought in a million years we'd see.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
And it's being done in our name. And that, again, a visceral, psychological and physical reaction to, you're doing what? I never thought. And I've heard other people say, well, why not? We had Japanese internment camps. We've done this.
We've done some crazy shit in this country.
And I have no doubt that those things are true. And I know that it sucks. But let's start with, that was quite some time ago. Have we not evolved?
Haven't we learned that those were mistakes?
Those were horror shows. And do we really want our kids growing up in a country where that's the norm? What are they going to do to us when we outlive our usefulness? Yikes.
All right, put a pin in that. We're going to come back to some politics in a minute.
Okay.
But I wanted to finish up with this story out of Bartow, right? Because there's been some developments.
There has?
Yeah, and it just breaks my fucking heart.
Tell me what.
Now, the mother of one of these girls spoke with Fox 13 on the condition of anonymity, telling them, quote, since May of last year, I should probably put a content warning in front of this.
Yeah, you should. Content warning.
Skip. Since May of last year, I've been dealing with the fact that their father was molesting them while I was not here. My daughter, of course, has been having problems. She was being raped by her father. They need to know my baby was tortured and hurt, and she has been going through a lot of things. She's been going to counseling, and she's been doing better. I don't know what's brought this on besides the fact that she's continued to be bullied at school every day. End quote. Now, police records back this up. The girl's father had been in jail since December on charges of sexual battery by a custodian, molestation, dozens of counts of child pornography. And let me just straighten my humanist hat here. This guts me.
Yeah.
I'm about to cry.
To learn this.
Yeah.
I figured there were other factors at play in this, in what drove these, and this is one girl. We don't know what's going on with the other girl, and maybe we never will.
Who
knows?
The other one was the younger one, right?
I believe so.
I mean, it's scary when you have kids at that age. They're so...
And when God doesn't do what you believe God would do if you were a decent human being, what do you do instead?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And at that age, I've been a part of several situations that have required me be in court with child molesters. And I've dealt with a lot of sexual abuse survivors. I don't know why I had a moment of shock there when it makes absolutely the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you take a religion and a society that embraces a religion that essentially says you can be forgiven of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you don't get caught and you're a good enough bully, I guess for all intents and purposes, you have been forgiven for everything. But your victim hasn't. And I have absolutely no patience. And I understand that it's cyclical. And I understand that person was probably in some way abused before. And I don't give the slightest fuck. Yep. I have no compassion for that person.
To your point earlier, at some point, there has to be a personal responsibility that happens. We can't just continue to blame our abuser. We can't just continue to blame society. We can't continue to blame the church. We can't. At some point, we have to take personal responsibility. And I will say, and then you can have the floor. I hope that all of these people involved get quality mental health treatment that they need, that they deserve.
Yeah.
Because I want people to get better, I want people to recover, and I want people to re-enter society and be good for us all. That's all I want. That's all I want. I hate to see these people suffer like this. Like, it would be easy to point at any one of them. The girls, the father, the mother who allowed it or brought the religion. Who knows what the story is? It would be easy to look at them all and shake your finger and shame. But come on. These are people. They're humans.
Children.
Let's give a damn.
So we have a habit on this show of I don't hear the stories beforehand. Because Sarah likes to get my raw reaction. So we had talked about this before, and then this new development, she actually played was it an audio?
Yeah, it was
or
a video.
or whatever.
It was a video.
The mother,
Fox 13 rolls up at the house with the camera.
Yeah.
In the mother's face. Because that's what the media does.
Right.
I worked in news radio for a while. I get it. You have to get the story, but whatever.
So I got to hear it, and it was funny because I thought to myself afterwards, I'm glad because I've had a few days now to process and think about it, because my gut reaction was, oh, that piece of shit scumbag, that poor girl.
Yep.
What the fuck? And that's still my reaction, guys.
Yeah,
so come for me.
Yep.
But now I've had that day to think about, well, okay, but she still did something horrible. There still has to be consequences. He needs consequences.
But did she?
But
I mean, she.
Like,
I mean,
thankfully,
we
they
get
caught her
down
in
to
time.
it. Well, how did they catch her other than she was shooting off her mouth?
yeah.
And she had a bag of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what she should be punished for.
Right, exactly.
But I think
The punishment should
I think
definitely
now
fit the
suddenly
crime.
That's
But-
starting to look like a cry for help
Sure.
a lot more than it
yes.
did
Oh, absolutely.
10 minutes ago, you know?
Yeah.
But what I go back to is, okay, yes, definitely cry for help. But look at Parkland and look at how many cracks that kid went through. He was crying for help too. And then, like, how many cries for help are we going to ignore before we fix the problem? And kids need consequences, and kids need stability, and kids need...
I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
I think you can do both. I just think it gets lost in translation, especially when you have the double S's, sex and Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. You know, I mean, I think people who have really just assume, and especially here, this is the norm, that everybody believes in God.
Yeah.
They may ignore it and they're just, heathen pieces of shit or whatever.
Yeah.
John Boy's a drunk or whatever. But if that's your norm and you hear those things, I think you can't really identify in a way that allows you to both say, okay, here are the consequences of your action. you're going to do this amount of time, or you're going to do
Right.
this kind of community service. But to prevent you from ever doing something like this again and getting to the bottom of whatever your damage is, we're also going to do this. I don't think they think that way. I think they think we just have to nip it in the bud, whatever it is,
Right.
really quick
Yeah.
and fix it.
Yeah.
And we can't let anyone know, that this happened, because let's face it, if 1/4 of our women have been molested or abused, that means at least 1/4 of our men are molesters or abusers, which I've got to anticipate spreads into the community at large. And don't really want that brought up that
Right.
much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just math, and I'm not good at it, but I can figure that much out, and it just breaks my heart that anyone that young would have to literally do something that dramatic
Right.
for some. And I would, again, how many teachers would walk around scratching their head today going, God, why didn't I say such
Oh,
a
sure,
thing?
sure.
And I actually feel for
Sure.
them, but
Yeah.
the answer is you're a mandatory reporter.
Right.
And I know you've made plenty of trouble for people of my ilk for wearing too much black. So I don't know why the hell you didn't
Right.
notice that this kid's probably crying
Well,
every other day.
yeah,
or whatever.
Especially when there's police records already.
Yeah.
It's already been documented that there was stuff going on.
But that's where I was getting
And
ready
so,
to go.
yeah.
Like,
They
so,
released their
so
names
how did
knowing
we?
that?
Oh, I'm so fucking pissed off about that.
yeah, that was
so mad.
horrifying.
Shame on you, Ledger. I will say it again this week. I
Yeah.
said it last week too. They reported the names of these minor girls. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm so mad.
But the police shouldn't have released them either.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they already had a father in jail. That should have been a bit of a clip.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is, how do we handle these situations, right? So you have 2 girls who have been arrested on charges of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and expelled from school. Now, what are we going to do with them? Well, we're going to throw them in the system, which does not rehabilitate.
No.
All it does is punish. It's punitive. We slap them on the wrist and make them, live some shitty life for a little while.
When
and
they
then,
do get out, they
and
might
they get out,
they're
they're
that much worse.
Right.
You also can't rehabilitate someone who's never been habilitated.
Right.
If this
Yes.
person,
if they're going through all of that. Yeah.
I mean, how ducky was that person's life that you want to get them back to? No wonder people
Right.
fight off that attempt to make them conform to what they think. They already know they're damaged. They know they're broken. They know they won't fit. But of course, we've never really understood the need for the individual beyond what we can get from them. We like our individual geniuses because they create shit for us. And we like our individual musicians because they make shit we enjoy. But just somebody who we don't know what they're
Yeah.
going to bring to the table yet, no, those people will dismiss. They're nuts, they're kooks, and we're not interested.
Are you going to stick around for a little while?
If you'd like me
we're gonna.
to.
I'd love you to. No, this is great. This has been a great conversation. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll come back. When we come back, I want to talk about. I have some more political conversation. I have a story about the bathroom battleground. And I have a good story about a positive story about religion. I'm actually going to say a nice thing about religion. So I know. We'll do that when we come back. You're listening to Sarah Talk.
In today's health-conscious society, you have many beverage choices. But do you know what's in all of them? So much sugar, sodium, and things you can't even pronounce. Dihydrogen monoxide. What's that? Sometimes you wish you just had a simple, more elegant solution for your beverage needs. Introducing H2O, the first ever chemical-free thirst quencher. H2O is simple, simply composed of 3 portions of 2 elements, hydrogen and oxygen. H2O means chemical-free, unlike water, which is filled with all sorts of shit. When we tested H2O, we found traces of no other elements. So pure, the bottle may as well be fucking empty, with all the same nutritional content as a breath of cool mountain air. First widely featured on Goop.com, actress Gwyneth Paltrow revealed that she exclusively uses H2O for her vaginal steaming process. After all, why use water when you can steam it with H2O? So now we invite you to run out to your local garden hose and drink that shit. Remember, it's not water, it's H2O.
H2O bottled by Flint Bottling Company in Flint, Michigan. Product not actually endorsed by Goop or Gwyneth Paltrow. Please do not use H2O for vaginal steaming, or better yet, please do not steam your vagina. H2O is actually just water. Water is a set of molecular compounds. It's a chemical. Everything is a chemical.
I was feeling so alone.
I was going through a really difficult time.
I was embarrassed and a little scared.
I didn't want to bother anyone.
I didn't think they'd understand.
I thought it would just make things worse.
It was tough at first, but I did it.
It ended up taking a huge weight off my shoulders.
I feel a lot better.
I'm glad I asked for help.
I asked for help. I asked for help.
I asked my teacher. I asked my aunt.
I asked my dad.
I asked my mom.
I asked the Trevor Project.
Now, I feel like I can get through this.
I know that I am brave.
You can do this.
You can do this.
You can do this.
Ask for help.
Ask for help.
Ask for help.
Ask for help.
Whatever it is, ask for help.
If you're thinking about suicide or need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. Trained counselors are there to help 24/7. Ask for help.
Hello, my friends. This is Sister Mary Atheist of the Church of Religious Avoidance down here in Bumblefuck, Alabama. Now, my friends, my people, my brothers and sisters, do you feel lost? Do you feel that swelling urge to be a part of something better? Well, let the word of SarahTalk help you. If you've never known the word SarahTalk, learn it, live it, love it. Can I get an amen? No? Good, 'cause we don't do that shit round here. My friends, we must all remember that the good word of SarahTalk doesn't happen for free. So get yourself over to patreon.com/SarahTalk and help us spread the word. Plant that seed and help it grow into secular, peer-reviewed empirical evidence for the good of all. In the name of the Sarah, the Becca, and the science-based podcast, amen, hallelujah, and holy shit.
Hey you, this is John from the Wayward Willis, and you are listening to the SarahTalk podcast. You know who else is listening? God. He's listening and he's pissed. He has to send Jesus out of the room because of all the fucking profanity. Clean up your act, SarahTalk. You make baby Jesus cry.
I love our listeners. We have the best. Oh,
yeah,
Sister Mary Atheist, hilarious. This is one of the best things I think I've ever produced. And then John from the Wayward Willis.
I love John.
Making baby Jesus cry. I love it. We're back with our guest, Magistra Ygraine. Thank you again for coming in. This has been fun, getting to know you and getting to know a little bit more about the Church of Satan. So I have a couple of news stories tonight. Not real crazy. But believe it or not, I only printed out 4 pages. Can you?
Only 4?
I know.
Usually it's like 14.
And then we go like 3 hours long. We're not going to do that tonight.
Neurotic much?
We're taking advantage of that extra hour we get of sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You know we're not going to get an extra hour. We have children.
A mother can dream.
All right, well, you know what they say, wish in one hand, shit in the other.
You have kids who know not from daylight savings.
I know, and it sucks. The little one was awake this morning before the sun was up.
Right. Okay. So the first story here is about Orlando resident Tony Gott.
Tony got back.
Tony is a breast cancer survivor who has undergone a double mastectomy, was cornered in a stadium bathroom when another game goer reported a man in the women's room.
No.
Mm-hmm. While attending a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game against the Cleveland Browns in Tampa on October 21st, I guess those are sports ball teams or something. I don't really recognize what those words are. A game honoring and attended by cancer survivors.
Oh my God. Are you fucking for real right
She's
now?
sitting in a group of, and like a whole section devoted to, and pink everywhere, devoted to cancer survivors. She decides just before halftime, I'm going to beat the crowds and go to the restroom.
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God.
So she goes to the restroom, and she wasn't the only one with that great idea of going a little bit early. There was a crowd. She told Watermark, quote, I sat down to use the restroom, and before I could stand up, someone was pounding on the door of the stall I was in. I opened the door, and there is someone who works for the stadium standing there and blocking the stall so I can't get out. And at the top of her lungs, she says, are you a man? I told her, no, ma'am. She says, you sure? No, you're not
even a little.
No, you're not a man. Are you a man? And I said, no, ma'am, I'm not a man. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I'm trying to tell you. So she tried talking to a couple of supervisors who did this thing that, and I've done this before as a manager, where you can just tell that they want you to just go away.
Please,
right? And they don't want to hear your problems. And then to make it all worse, the Tampa Sports Authority did this response comment thing where they're like, Tampa Sports Authority strives to provide an enjoyable experience for all our guests. Blah, 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 blah,
Damage
blah.
control.
Right.
Damage control.
Right?
What? Jesus Christ. I mean, to be honest, what could they really do for her? Because if I was in that position and I was traumatized like that, I would never want to go back to that stadium. So giving me free tickets
and
wouldn't
she
be
said
anything.
that. She has said, like, I'm never coming back.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yep.
Done with you.
But according to these reports, it felt like, I guess, she didn't feel like she got a genuine apology.
Right.
Like she didn't feel like someone cared about her problem.
Right. I mean,
and so this is what you get, kids, when you make a big fucking deal about trans people being in bathrooms.
Right?
Right? That's what this leads to. This leads to people
There's no
going,
other reason to do that.
Oh, you look like a man. I think that was a man that just went in there. Oh, I better tell somebody. Shut the fuck up.
yeah.
Well, I asked my husband just yesterday. I mean, we were driving, and I don't remember why, but I turned and I was just like, okay, other than the bathroom thing, is that the only bitch people have about worrying about what other people do with their junk? And he was like, I guess so. You know what? I'm almost at a point where I don't have a position because there's no need to have a position.
Right.
It's not my junk.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's not my junk. And you know what? In the end, if you're behind a stall,
right.
I'm pretty sure everybody's waist is pretty similar. And I'm not going to know from shit. And you know what? I can be I was a little bit of a badass in high school, and I assure you, I got my licks in. So did the other girls, much more than if a guy had come in there. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes no sense to me just to give a shit.
Right.
The only thing I occasionally get frustrated by is friends who change their the terminology for their gender, and even that's just because I can't keep up. Okay, and I don't mean it badly. So when they get when people get hostile about that, I'm like, look, dude, I'm sorry, I'm old, I'm stupid,
Right.
I'm feeble. I'll catch on. I meant no offense. Okay,
Yeah.
but that's as far.
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
It's
As
none
a
of my business.
as a trans person, when you're talking about like pronouns and stuff, because I work with people who knew me before I transitioned. As long as I can tell that you're making a genuine effort, slip up. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's not going to break. Now, there are some people who, go to therapy far more often than I do, for whom that would crush them. Like that,
Yeah.
hearing that old name just destroys them inside. And I understand that.
Really?
But by and large, I don't want to speak for the whole community, but I would say we can tell when you're trying to be genuine, when you're genuinely trying,
Right.
and you fuck up once in a while, and that's fine.
Well, I got a little bit of flack. I have a podcast called Confessions of a Wicked Witch on Radio Free Satan. And every year we do a Witch of the Year thing. And I make it very clear, this is a dictatorship. Don't vote. I'm picking. You can nominate, and I write, bios. And the idea for me is to know our membership, to get to see them. And I've always included transsexuals and transvestites in, and I've taken some flack for it. And I've always been like, you know what? The definition of a woman has to be more than a uterus.
Yep.
It just has to be.
Mhm.
Because you know what? Mine's not working anymore. And lots of people lose theirs and
Yep.
they don't stop being
You're
women.
still a
then.
woman. Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. So we're going to expand on that. And I am proud of being in a church that was one of the first to ordain women and who have transsexual, transvestite clergy and membership. And we perform marriage. I mean, we've always been that way. And and my kids, I have a daughter who's in school in San Francisco, and she just graduated from an all-women school, which isn't anymore. It's also got a grad school that has men in it, and I mean, they have lots of variation, but I didn't think you could get much more liberal than I am, but she is. And she manages to teach me shit.
Yep.
And I managed to teach her shit. Okay, this too shall pass. Yes, this is trend. This is reality. This
Right.
is, and yes, people are okay to be mad about this, but not necessarily this. But she was the one who introduced me to the various pronouns. And I was stumped. I was like, wait, no, that's a plural. What?
Yeah. They is so hard.
They
for
is
some
very
people, yeah.
difficult.
And she kept
Yeah.
saying it about her friend, or they were doing, and I was like, well, who else was there? No, and just me. And
It's interesting.
it took some, and then when I asked, she's going, you have no idea. You have no idea.
It's hard to wrap your head and then get used to it.
I even practice that, like when someone is talking to me about, because I get this occasionally, right? Like you'll even say, oh, my friend from back in the day messaged me and they have someone in their life who's trans. And I'm not really sure when you're telling me the story, whether they're male to female, female to male, what the current pronouns are. Are we using old and I will just use they in place of not knowing. And I found that's the best practice for me. Like that's what's worked best for me.
Thank you.
Try that. I don't know if it'll help.
Fixed it. No, really. At least I won't offend because, actually it was the same thing. The Megyn Kelly thing the other day with the blackface.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Totally fucked my world when I read one tweet that said, isn't it enough that we're telling you that it hurts us?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And everything else just suddenly fell away. Yeah. Unless you've fucked with me, I have no desire to hurt you.
Right.
So, yeah, it is enough.
If
That's
it were
good enough for me.
If it were an assault and I said stop, that should register the stop bell in your brain.
Sure. Right.
And if you're calling me by my dead name and I say stop, that same tone should go off. Yeah.
I saw a thing and it was, you don't have a problem calling people by a nickname if they tell or
you call mom and dad.
Call mom and dad. That's not their birth name. Or
right.
if a girl gets married and changes her last name, that's not her birth name. So why is it so hard?
Yeah.
Anyway,
go ahead.
I want to jump to chat.
Yep.
Russell says, Sarah, don't drink straight from the bottle. It'll all be okay.
Well, okay.
I must have missed you.
I'm still mixing. I didn't drink from the bottle.
Yeah,
no, I'm okay.
All right.
Good.
Victoria says, we're going to go back to the bathrooms here for this.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, if we're in the restroom together and you know about my genitals, you are the one doing something inappropriate, not me.
Hell yes.
And I love that.
Yep.
And I want to go back to your point about it being in a position where you don't care because there's nothing to care about.
Nothing.
I always say, unless you're putting your junk in my face and I have not given you consent, I don't care about your junk.
Yep.
I always say when I get attacked, it provided, and it's true, as long as I don't want to fuck you, I don't much care.
Yeah.
Right.
I really don't.
Yeah.
There's no.
And even then.
It's all iffy anyway. It's like, could end up being a complete shitter, who knows?
So the thing with, that drives me nuts is this restroom thing. One of my friends from work just got back from a trip to Paris. where there are restrooms.
Go figure.
Wow.
That
They're
anyone,
a civilized community.
that anyone goes into.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, I don't know if they were at a pub or something. I don't know what the story was, but she was like, I don't know if they were male and female and people were just like, whatever, I gotta pee, so get the hell out of my way. Like, I don't know what the story was, but we all, like, men and women into a restroom together. All the stalls are floor to ceiling. You can't see through the doors. You can't, like, everyone just went pee and then they washed their hands and then they left. There's nothing happening in these restrooms. They're all over Europe. What the fuck is wrong with America?
Oh, come on. That's not just the restrooms, honey.
I know.
I mean, but you hear the vitriol.
Yeah.
I mean, about, like dogs are going to be copulating with, starfish.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
the whole world is going to go completely insane if a man and a woman pee next to each other with a door in between.
Dogs and cats living together. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Is that where I got that? Oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, I love Ghostbusters.
Apparently,
There is only Zool.
So anyway, there's that.
No more
I'm
bathroom.
tired of this
You know
stuff.
what? That if that's the big issue,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just named the solution. There's a door that we open,
Right?
and
It's
you know
not
what?
difficult.
It'll create jobs.
Yeah.
It'll create jobs when we revamp every bathroom in America.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think this is an idea whose time has come. We've solved the problem.
You know, it's interesting, the trans rights narrative, the current events in the trans world. You've had, and we touched on this a little bit, you had North Carolina's awful bill about trans restrooms, House Bill 2. Texas followed shortly behind with Senate Bill 6 that was going to do the same thing in a special they called a special session for this. So what a waste of taxpayer money. And it went nowhere.
Go figure.
House Bill 2 got kind of reversed, sort of. Then we watched the Texas governor debate, right, where they asked, is this... if a bill comes to your desk about this transgender restroom thing, will you sign it? And he was very, nah, it's not on my legislative agenda, and kind of a dodge to the question.
Which is really interesting
But
when you look at 4 years ago that was...
It was the hot
button.
Right.
All the Texas was...
But now it seems to have sort of died off a little bit until Trump gets out and decide, and this memo gets leaked that they're going to basically rewrite the definition of the word gender to mean the gender that you were assigned based on your genitals at birth. Now, I don't know how much of that is like election pre-cum. Like how much of that is we're just floating stuff out there to see what will rally the base.
Oh, like his tax cuts for the middle class that are never going to
Congress
happen.
isn't even in session.
Yeah,
that was brilliant.
So good. So I don't know how much of it is that, because it seems like when you look at even in the Deep South where this has been an issue, it's not so much an issue right now.
I think it holds as much water as his upside down rainbow flag that said LGBTs.
Oh,
Trump.
yeah.
I really do. Like, it terrifies me that it can come out of his mouth and that there's people who believe that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't think that it's going anywhere.
No.
Yeah, but he has to keep throwing out these diversions
to get the support.
He has to just keep pitching. So this week we're on, the caravan of the caravan of of terrorists with strollers and shit.
Yeah, right.
Yep, they're coming today, and then.
Oh, and he said if they throw rocks, consider that an attack and shoot back. Are you kidding me?
He said, no, imagine those rocks are rifles.
Ugh.
So therefore you would be mandated to shoot back. He didn't actually, and then the next day he's like, I never said that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's probably the most true thing that's come out of his mouth in like ever. But it was certainly the implication. Again, even when he tells the truth, it's a lie.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right?
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
I looked at a chart the other day that showed like all the lies that he's told like day by day, and it just this
he
line
just keeps
graph.
breaking his own record.
It was crazy. Oh, it was insane.
I am the greatest liar
But
in the history
I tell the
ever.
best lies. I tell the biggest
I have
lies.
the best words in my lies. I have them all. Yeah, it's great.
Victoria says gender segregated restrooms are a modern development. Wasn't a problem back then. Why is it now? And it's funny because we talked about this episodes ago about when the restrooms became segregated.
Yep.
And what started that.
Women entering the workforce.
Women entering the workforce is when it all like shit hit the fan.
Yeah, and men thought that they needed a special plush place to do whatever women do because they didn't know. That's what started the whole thing.
Like, didn't any of them have wives? Like, that's the thing. Like,
Right.
I mean, you think that I Love Lucy
No, but
on TV they were in separate beds.
Yes.
But like, really,
No, but
was
at
that
home-
happening in real?
No, at home, if you were taking a shit, I didn't go anywhere near you. Like, that's your private time. We're not
Oh
gonna
well,
come.
yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
because now you have these modern couples that
'Cause
just leave the
girls don't
bathroom
poop.
door open.
Not in my world, we don't.
Oh.
My husband and I are like, we both admit we are way too prim for that shit. And the day will come, and we know the day will come when somebody's going to have to do something
Right.
for
Yeah,
someone.
yeah.
But that day ain't today.
Oh, every door in this house is wide open. We
we
don't
have
give a
kids.
shit.
I can't. I
raised
don't know
5
the last
kids.
time I was able to go to the bathroom without any company.
No. Don't you even knock on the goddamn bathroom door while I'm in there, or else all hell. And my kids, you feel bad for them. They're all like, even now, like even to my bedroom, they're always like.
See, I remember it being like that in my house. We didn't follow my mom into the bathroom. And maybe that's why I'm like, whatever, just.
Oh no!
I don't know. I don't care. It
I
doesn't-
love privacy. I mean, it's another one of those, constitutional things
Yeah.
that I take like from the teeniest little bit to the biggest you can name it. I'm actually Pollyanna patriot. I really am. I mean, based on like the documents and based on the amazing things that were done, which is why it hurts so horribly badly to see the people that even if I didn't agree with their patriotism, I knew that's what was in their heart, or I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
And the most patriotic people I've seen have now turned into fascists. And it's a little bit disturbing to me. I was like, wait, if I'm the best you got, if my mind is the one that's most about the founders and what they wanted, you got some serious trouble, okay? Because I'm not completely okay.
Yeah.
I've got some rather radical ideas. So you might, if I'm it,
I try to find the balance, and this is tough. I think this is part of the problem that we have here is that this respect. I'm not patriotism, nationalism, none of that stuff has any meaning for me. I'm a globalist.
I'm a globalist too, but
the minute we erased borders, the better off we are. Right? We should be the human race, not the Americans and the whatever.
Sure.
So anyway, but that's you all know that. But that is that. This experiment in democracy is an interesting experiment, in many ways unprecedented, and good in a lot of ways. And I think that we should look back on the founders with some respect, but also, right? It's 2018, 250 years later, a lot has changed.
Bunches.
And so the thing I can't get with is the idea that this is a concrete stone tablet, if you would, Ten Commandments style document that cannot be changed for any reason ever. The very first thing they did was add amendments to the thing. Like that, come on.
Right.
They created a situation to
It's a
add
living
amendments.
document.
Yeah, I agree.
It's meant to be updated with the times. And so
It's not the tablets that came off the mountain.
it frustrates me when people look back on and this is political right generally, but when people look back on the founding and the founding fathers and we know what they wanted. We worked at Disney for a number of years. And the people that would be, Walt would be rolling in his grave if he knew what was going on with this.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know Walt? Shut the fuck up.
Right.
We consider
Come
Walt
on.
a de facto Satanist.
Mm-hmm.
One of the tenets of our religion is to try to create in your home what's called a total environment. Whether it's a fantasy or a fetish, whatever, your home should be that magical place that makes you the happiest. And we're fairly confident that if you need an example of that, Walt created it. Multiple ones. Multiple ones. And when you read like his biography, he had a hard edge. He wasn't the most forgiving person in the world.
Right.
But he also loved to see the magic of joy. And the magic of joy is something that I don't know why people can't share that. Just when you're around a happy person, you're automatically happier. Unless you're a sad sack, miserable piece of shit, in which case it pisses you off, which is always a good indicator of someone you want to have lunch with. It's like,
Now, Walt Disney, thank you for the segue. You're the best. Come back again. Walt Disney also happened to be very anti-Semitic. And speaking of anti-Semitic, I wanted to talk about the Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania shooting. Now, you know that I have this Trump-esque both sides guarantee, right? When it comes to religion, I have said, when religion, I am not friendly to religion. I give them a ton of shit. But when religion gets it right, I will call that out too. I've made that promise. And so with that in mind, this is a story we haven't talked about. On Sunday, a gunman stormed the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. What did I say? Philadelphia? Pittsburgh. Sorry.
Yeah.
I meant Pittsburgh. Killing 11 Jewish people in what appears to be an anti-Semitic attack, likely fueled by Trump rhetoric. Now, other groups have extended sympathies and gifts to the synagogue. The church, formerly known as Mormon, sent 2 young men in cheap suits to knock on the door with the Book of Mormon. The Catholics sent a young boy with a copy of their 2018 best-selling book, How to Get Away with Child Sex Abuse. I'm sorry.
She was believing this until that moment, and the look on her face was priceless.
I was doing so good to hold my face
Where
together.
is Dan when we need a screenshot?
Oh, my God.
That was amazing.
Listen, I have to deal with tragedy with humor sometimes. Sometimes that's how I deal. All right. But here, the real story here is the Muslims.
They actually did it. That's why I thought it was true, because I knew you were going to get to that. And I was like, wait a minute. They're the good guys?
The evil, scary Muslims, hell-bent on forcing Sharia law on America, have, as of this morning, when I did the write-up here, they raised $233,000.
The other day. Oh my God.
$233,000, nearly 10 times their original goal. $233,000. The fundraiser says, quote, the Muslim American community extends its hand to help the shooting victims, whether it is the injured victims or the Jewish families who have lost loved ones. We wish to respond to evil with good, as our faith instructs us, and send a powerful message of compassion through action.
Wow.
That, friends, is how you do it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
stunningly. We can sit down and disagree all day long about holy text interpretations and whether faith is reliable and dogma and all of that stuff.
But nobody deserved to die like that.
No.
Nobody. That woman, the 97-year-old woman. And I mean, both genetically and at least halfway by tradition, I'm Jewish. And I mean, again, I wasn't raised as a Jew, but I was exposed. And
sure. Yeah.
When I discovered there was such a thing as anti-Semitism, what? Again, that whole, you're raised in a major city where everybody's everybody and there's an asshole and a nice person on every corner. Sure. You don't make those judgments. I didn't know there was, I thought racism was a thing of the past till I moved to Florida the first time in 1989. Or, individuals who are dicks.
But like organized.
No, and I mean,
pockets of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Port St. Lucie, the head of the KKK, got dressed up every Martin Luther King Day as a gorilla and gave out bananas in front of Publix. I shit you not. You can only imagine me standing there, little miss, patriotic Pollyanna. Here I come. I may be a witch, but I'm a good one, and I seeing shit like that and knowing there was a human being in there.
Mm-hmm.
And just being like, why do you want to hurt somebody who has done nothing to you? And what I see with the Muslims doing that is, again, it's like you said, we're all people.
Yep.
And this could have happened too. a lot of different people, although I believe it was because of their affiliation with Hayes. I mean, because they were inviting the refugees. And I think that was supposedly what put this guy off. And he, of course, is also saying Trump was too nice to the Jews, which he moved a building. I don't really consider it like, it's not like he's got everybody eating challah or anything. Okay? I mean, it's just, it was a rather strategic, if you like inflaming people, thing to do. But this guy apparently really, really, really hated people for both their ethnicity and the religion. And I hate the religions.
Sure.
And I hate those who promulgate them by using and lying. But I certainly don't hate people. And I never hate anybody until I've heard or seen something that gives me a reason to hate them.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't walk through life like that. You just can't.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of people more than I am angry at them.
There's a lot of that. It's almost the inverse of the hate the sin, love the sinner. Right?
I'm the other way. Yeah.
Love the person, hate the religion. Go ahead.
Victoria said, I embedded this. This is out of chat, so maybe
I didn't
Victoria
see that.
send me the article. One of the people killed in this was the one who discovered AIDS.
I hadn't seen that one. I heard that the 97-year-old that you mentioned was a Holocaust survivor. That has been fact-checked as incorrect.
Incorrect.
Is it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that is not true. But
Well,
this, I don't know.
I mean, by life years,
sure, it fits.
But I mean, I'm just thinking, what could have possibly, if it's almost worse, if you were a Jew, if you have survivor guilt for, going to war, if you have survivor guilt, imagine being a Jew who actually managed not to get hurt in the Holocaust.
Right.
You might count your blessings, but how do you live with trying to determine why it was...
And the thing that
how about 97 years old? What kind of cowardly son of a bitch?
Right?
I mean, why don't you just go kick some puppies, you bastard?
Fits the type.
Doesn't make sense.
It fits the profile for sure.
Absolutely.
The thing that pisses me off the most about this, I think, and all of this xenophobic nonsense is, again, this country was founded on immigrants. Like the great American experiment was people coming from all over together to kill the Indians and take their land. And I'm sorry,
Manifest destiny.
Hold on, I'm getting to the good part. Getting to the things where things
Trigger
started
warning.
turning good. No, but we have always embraced what is it on the Statue of Liberty? Give me your tired, hungry, huddled, whatever
refuge.
Yes, come on. And so during the Holocaust, where did people go? Many of them, to escape the Holocaust. Many of them came here.
Go figure. And then they got joined by a bunch of Nazi doctors, etc., who we brought here to make really cool weapons.
Yep.
But you know what? I can let all of that go if we just can't keep having things like this happen.
Yeah.
And we can't keep flaming the fires, because the problem with all this shit is what happens when it's over?
Yep.
What's left to save?
Yep.
Do you want it? And I see that even in personal relationships. When you've thrown so many fireballs and, dishes at each other and what have you. So what if you save a relationship that's that bad? What's
left?
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And I worry about that here. And I keep trying to tell people are like, oh, it's business as usual. This is not business as usual. I've been here for 55 years, and I can assure you, in the last 55 years, I would have heard. Okay? This is not business as usual.
The thing that I think that frustrates me, and this is a good segue into politics, because it's so tied together, is the fear. There is a party in this country who thrives on fear-based motivation. Like, that is the tactic to get people worked up. And so it's funny, my dad posted something about it was a video of Bill Clinton back in the day talking about how we need to strengthen our borders and hire more guards and we're going to deport people faster and whatever, right?
That are here illegally.
Like, and I, so I'm from a town of 1,400 people in the middle of nowhere, Illinois. Very conservative. That's
Very
why
sorry.
I left. Very conservative.
Very sorry.
And they still live there in the house I grew up in. And so it's this idea that different people are scary, right? And so he posts this thing, and the basic premise was like, look, and the very last frame said, look, Bill Clinton was trying to do something even stricter, even more restrictive than what Donald Trump has suggested. And I was like,
shit.
And I was like, whoa, hold on. No, I said that, but it was my dad, so I had to be a little,
more diplomatic about it.
Look, Bill Clinton, and think whatever you want about Bill Clinton politically or sexually. Bill Clinton did not put children in cages after pulling them from their mother's arms. Mm-hmm. Bill Clinton didn't suggest building a giant fucking wall across the southern border that won't actually work. Like, there is some very different distinctions here that he did not suggest worse. Deporting people faster? Sure. I'm all for that. Like, the idea was, I have this mental image in my mind of what the liberal position on immigration is, and it's wrong. And so I replied, when I don't normally do this.
Yeah.
And I was sober at the time. But I replied.
Therein lies the problem. Is that what
I replied?
No, I think that was the more surprising part.
And I said, look, I don't entirely disagree with what Clinton has to say here. Not my favorite president ever, but I don't disagree with him.
It was a happy time, actually.
I think
very comfortable.
Yeah.
Everything was in
without
the black.
anything horrifying happening.
Right.
We weren't in the red.
I think the issue with more rapidly deporting criminals.
Absolutely.
I'm all for that. The idea is we should not be detaining people any longer than we have to, and most certainly not families any longer than.
And children do not belong in dog kennels.
No.
Nor do they belong to be given away to whoever decides to adopt them.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
That's not. That's
But
kidnapping. Isn't that kidnapping?
Yes.
Tell me I'm wrong.
If you've identified someone, process them quickly, deport them, move on with business, right? What were some of the other things? He wanted to strengthen border security by hiring more guards. I'm all for that, right? But
not the military.
But not the military, right? There are border guards. That is a position that you can have. It's a job. Right. Yeah.
And you're creating
and
jobs.
ICE didn't exist until after 9/11. So it's what before then we just had a big welcome sign to come on in.
Yeah.
No.
We apparently had a structure already in place that might need to be expanded. What we don't need is I don't know, immigration ninjas going out. I mean, I just don't even.
And so,
and they have to come to the border to apply for asylum.
Yes,
it's the law. Now, granted, they should have applied at the first country they came to, which would have been Mexico or Guatemala, either depending on how they came. However, as I said to one person, look, if somebody's beating up on you, do you just move next door?
Right.
Don't you try to get a little bit across town before, I mean, maybe that's a failing. Or how much would it cost to create a huge, it's got to be less than 15,000 soldiers being deployed, to create an easier situation for the application process and a dormitory where people, can stay until such time as these are evaluated.
Yep.
But then they remember, domestic violence is no longer a cause for asylum. Mm-hmm. If you're a victim of a gang, including ones that were deported back to your country.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We won't have them here. We'll send them back to you. They'll beat the fuck out of you. And if you want to get away, too damn bad.
Yeah.
Isn't
that crazy?
It's just, I thought we were better.
Humanism. Again, can we please plug in some humanism? Again,
no.
My position, no, obviously not.
not.
But my, my position, of course, is that, borders are arbitrary lines on a map that somebody drew, and they don't really mean as much as we'd like to think that they mean.
But Kafifi.
But Kafifi. But my point was, to my father was like, look, your perception of the liberal position is all wrong. This idea that all liberals want open borders, that's not what I want. I'm a liberal. I'm a bleeding heart socialist fucking liberal. Let me tell you what I believe. I believe that there should be processes. Absolutely. There should be a process that people have to go through to come into this country legally. I support that. I believe that there should be legal ports of entry that people should have to come through. I'm okay with hiring more people to patrol our borders to make sure that people aren't just running across. But I also think that we have to do that as humanists. I also think we have to be compassionate and caring about it because these are people. And whatever you think of them, they're still humans. They're still people.
That's where you're making your error.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm gonna.
But
no, that's.
But that's where the we don't take children from mothers and shove them in cages comes from. That's my humanism.
The problem is, okay, so you have this government, and this is a big issue, but our government, our local governments, our police forces have not even figured out how to not shoot black citizens
No, you're right.
that are unarmed.
No, you're right.
So,
but
I feel like this is a much bigger problem than that.
No, you're
I think
right.
you can't fix the big picture until you fix each individual pixel.
Right.
But I'm not sure that it's not all the same.
Of course, it's all interconnected.
But I mean, if the real problem comes down to, and I wouldn't have never until the last 3 years have said that all problems are based on essentially some form or another of bigotry.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I even if I had heard myself said that, I would have even thought, you liberal socialist piece of shit, get your head out of your ass. You know, I really would have. But I walk up to my husband going, that sounds like racism. Could you tell me why it's not? And he'll just look at me and go, go walk off. No, I don't have an answer for you. And actually, I was really excited. My husband was one of those people who, since we've been together 18 years and friends for 25 or something, and he has always said, we've had debates, long-winded, drunken arguments about how I vote every election and I write letters and I do all this shit. And he's like, he's in professional wrestling. So he's like, it's all a work. He goes, this is a shoot, but it's all a work and it's all predestined. And he had never voted. He was never registered. I never tried to change him. That's who he was.
Right.
But after the last few years, we had a really tremendous argument. And I finally said, most wives would say, I want a piece of jewelry, or I would like, a trip, or I'm asking you to register to vote. And I'm asking you just to
I love that.
vote in the midterms with me. And he looked and he was like, you know what? You didn't even have to ask this time.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, and so yesterday we went hand in hand and we voted. And I was like watching him across the room going, he's going to fuck it up. He doesn't know what he's doing. No. But I was so proud of him. I was practically in tears because this has always meant so much to me, that this is the one, just, it was like the one thing about him that kind of drove me nuts, even though I was trying to, because I knew I drive him nuts. I must interrupt him 40 times a day. Look what the asshole did now. Would you fucking believe it? And he's always like, yes, I know. But apparently it's had the effect.
That's good.
And
that's good.
And I'm hoping if that can affect him.
Yep.
I assure you that people, with significantly less intelligence but more heart in that regard will certainly pick up the banner.
Look, I was apathetic really until 2016.
Yeah.
Really?
So my family I don't remember them voting.
Oh my.
And this is why we take our children with us. I don't vote by mail, don't vote at the church. We early vote and we take our children because I want them to see the process. I want them to be
My
involved.
parents did.
I want them to get it because I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah.
I don't remember my parents voting. And then in my 20s, I worked in talk radio, which is very right-leaning Republican, conservative. And that's a story for off air. I've told it a million times, but I'll tell you later. But even then, like, my shtick on the show, on the morning show, was I was the 19-year-old kid who didn't know shit about shit and didn't care, right? I kind of represented what we call now the millennials, even though I wasn't. But that empathetic, like, didn't care about anything. That was me. And that lasted through my 20s. I moved down here.
MTV's Rock the Vote was aimed directly at your...
No, you're right.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch it. I moved down here. And then in 2015, I transitioned. I came out as trans. And I saw what happened in North Carolina. And I saw and we started this show. And I saw what happened in Texas. And I became real interested real fast because it affected me personally.
Funny that.
Finally.
Now you have a
It's
cause.
frustrating that I went so long.
But you know what?
Just
if
not
that's what it
caring.
had, but here's the scarier flip side of that. The only way this monster got elected was by manipulating and using the manifestation of that same process on a bunch of stupid people who suddenly feel it's just like when they do the whole marriage thing. Gay marriage, how does that reduce your marriage?
Right.
Because that's their interest.
Doesn't take any rights
It
away
takes
from you.
Nothing from
Nope.
you. It doesn't make your marriage somehow less valid.
Yep.
It does, so why is it your motherfucking business? You know, I mean.
So true.
But apparently there were just enough apathetic people who suddenly felt threatened.
Yes.
That, or else he wouldn't have done, well, he didn't really, but still he did, you know, or else we wouldn't be here now. And when you watch those little red hat wearing mothers, you know, screaming and yelling, they mean it. Make no mistake. There is fire in their eyes. And it's actually changed my own methods of dealing because I can be pretty goddamn vitriolic when I want to, but I never want to look that rabid.
Yeah.
And I won't. I will not play that game.
Yep.
I will not. And there's that other question. Do you want to be as... In Satanism, we say, never turn the other cheek because it just gives them something else to slap.
I love it.
Okay.
I like it. That's great.
But there's also something said for not, you know, getting down and dirty. But because then again, when the dust clears, even if you've won, what have you won?
Right. Right. And what does that do to your character and the impression people have of
and
you?
how much lower can people go?
Yep.
You know, I mean, and they keep surprising me. Lower still.
So I think it's one of the interesting questions I have, and looking at the midterms, and we will be live Tuesday night. I think we're going to start about 8 p.m. Mandy's confirmed to come in. I have several podcast friends who are going to call in. Amy with a Y from Secular Soup, John from the Wayward Willis. I think Mike and Kyle are going to call in.
Cool.
Gayish. We got a whole bunch of people that are lined up to be a part of our election coverage. But what I'm wondering is, if Republicans lose and lose badly, which I hope, blue wave. If you haven't voted, vote.
Tsunami.
Unless you're a Republican.
Will the Overton window...
I'll be honest.
This is my question. Will the Overton window shift back left? And what I mean by that is, when Trump won, so many on the right decided, well, this is the new Republican Party. This is what we have to come together. This is what the Republicans stand for, even though this isn't really my Republican Party. But if I want to get reelected, I have to toe the line. It's the new Trump Republican Party. And I wonder if they get their asses handed to them in the midterms. I've said this before. When does a few of those Republicans stand up and be, look, this is not the Republican Party that I ran on when you first elected me 12 years ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. This isn't my Republican Party. This is the party of racists and Donald
will
Trump.
you trust them if they do?
I don't know.
Because obviously they are for sale.
But if you were a Republican voter,
yeah,
how do you view that?
Well, the party of Lincoln is a lot like the party of Lincoln, like, pedophile priests are the party of Jesus. Okay. I mean, it's the same. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If once you've sold out your basic principles, again, just like I keep saying, these people aren't Satanists. We got to define it.
Right.
If you're no longer what has been defined, then grow a pair and, call it something else. Mm-hmm. Be what you are. But Jeff Flake, well, gee whiz, you're so concerned,
Right,
and,
exactly.
Yes.
It's nice to be concerned when you're about to retire. What's his name? Paul, whatever is Ryan.
Paul Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, okay, you finally stood up. What are you, a week away from, you're going down. You're going to go down in history as the equivalent of Goebbels and Himmler and all that. I actually made a chart where I put everybody where they should be, I've got Ivanka as the minister of this.
Oh my God, I would love to see that.
I'll send it to you.
I'll send it
Please
to you. Please do, yes.
I was like, if Sarah Sanders is Goebbels, which is totally frightening, and Eichmann is, what's her name, Ingrid Nielsen or whatever with ice. I just literally went through and it was like, okay, who would fit most?
Oh my God.
That's so great.
Because they haven't killed 6 million people yet. But it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No.
And given what you can do with social media and words today, you've certainly destroyed that many lives.
Mm-hmm.
And these people really think that history is going to remember. I don't think they do. I think they've got to know that something's going to make, ruin. The whole thing was supposed to be about legacy, the legacy of people. Your legacy is you were a douchebag who worked for King Douche. What good is that to you?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you get from that? Your grandchildren are going to change their name, okay?
Yeah, no
You'll notice
kidding.
your kids didn't go to school with anyone named Hitler, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't the only one ever named that. Therefore,
Right.
People said, okay, distance.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, and I just, but the madness, it is so bad. I was in Indiana visiting my son, and some guy saw that I was from Florida at a gas station and ran up to me to shake my hand because we were one of the states that saved Trump.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And I was just freaked enough not to say anything because I'm in the middle of fuck Indiana and I have absolutely and I'm not going to sit here and say, no, I'm a woman alone and I'm going to take you on.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't
right.
But I was
choose your battles wisely.
Yeah, right.
Holy shit.
I never did until I got old.
Well, yeah.
I'm a little slower than I used to be. But,
Fair enough.
But people feel like he's some sort of messianic.
Yes.
And they give him that sort of, they ignore everything. No, he's not a daughter-lusting pervert. No, he hasn't locked kids in cages. No, he doesn't lie 900 times a day. No, he didn't collude with Russia. How much do you have to pretend a bunch of other people just sit around making up just to piss you off before you at least look and say, well, that's a little iffy, I mean, how much lying to yourself do you have to do to accomplish that?
The thing that I thought was interesting was the way the religious right jumped right into bed with him.
Just goes to show you they're full of shit now.
Right. Like, as long as you say pro-lifey things,
that's the only one they care about.
We're in it. That's the only thing they care about.
They're fetus worshippers.
Crazy.
It's all about the fetus.
And then once you have the baby, well,
you
don't get welfare, you don't get Medicare,
exactly.
you don't
Put it in a cage.
Put it in a cage, especially if it's brown. God damn it.
Oh. Okay. Are there any races here in, Florida races or whatnot that you're excited about?
Terrified's probably a better word. I'm terrified of the Senate race.
Yep.
I am not the biggest Bill Nelson fan, but I respect him, and he's certainly preferable.
I will repeat something I said last week, which is I watched the only televised debate between between them, and it was on Telemundo, and it was the most boring fucking thing I've ever watched. Bill Nelson and Rick Scott literally and I said this before, looked like two old men at a retirement center, like talking about their medication. It was so boring.
So like a golf game was more entertaining.
Yeah,
but you know what? I mean, you have a choice between, again, a big capitalist who has used his position of power, at least theoretically, in a negative way to screw the people, and now he wants to do it on a nationwide scale.
Right.
And then you have Bill Nelson, who sadly has enough integrity to look at things, and I don't always, my only problem is I don't always agree with his conclusions.
Right.
Yep.
But I really can't deny that he looks. I don't know what happens to people when they've been astronauts, but apparently they get all kinds of like genuinely moral. Who knew? But, apparently that trip to, whatever. But I want Nelson. And of course, the governor's race is incredibly important. And if DeSantis is that ad with the kid building the wall.
Oh my God, that was the worst. Well,
and his wife looking for all the world.
Right.
I've always said Fox TV anchors, televangelist wives, and porn stars. They all share a look. They all share a sound. They all dress the same. The only weirdness is you actually do see them in different places at the same time. But otherwise, they are these. And that's that woman. I'm so proud of my husband teaching our daughter to build the wall. And I'm like, I want to rip your heart out.
Right.
I don't really know how to deal with the anger I feel for a woman who would think that's okay.
Right.
On the other side, on that side of the wall, are a whole bunch of kids who look just like yours.
Yep.
How can you be okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
And she's probably very much the be quiet in church, don't ask any. If you have any questions, ask your husband later. And
she's a kept woman.
Yeah.
She's also a mean girl. I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
Mean girls grow up and become televangelist wives, porn stars, and Fox News anchors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So the final news story tonight. Let's move on here. Last weekend, don't know if you saw this, someone shot up a local branch office of the Florida GOP. Did you see this story?
Didn't see this.
How did I not see that?
The Volusia County Republican office was found Monday morning with the front windows shot out, holes in walls, bullets at the scene. No one was inside at the time of the shooting, which police say happened sometime between 4 p.m. Sunday and 9 a.m. Monday. And again, let me say, whether you're making poorly crafted pipe bombs to send to Democrat people in the mail, Democratic leaders, or you're shooting up the local GOP office, none of that helps anyone. None of that helps anyone. Stop it. Stop it.
Good luck with that. Crazy is as crazy does, my friend.
And crazy comes back to the healthcare debate, which again, I've said before, and I'll say it again, any American citizen should be, anybody in America, should be able to walk up to a mental health clinic of any sort and say, I need help, and be welcomed inside and treated without respect to national origin, ability to pay, any of those things.
Right.
We call me a socialist, but we should be taking care of people.
Yeah.
It would certainly pay,
Sure.
Even I apparently have not had as wonderful luck with mental health care professionals as evidently you have.
Oh, listen, let me tell you, I have spent a number of years in and out of therapy. When I was first, save your thought, because I'll forget. When I was first going through my gender identity issues, my parents took me to a therapist.
Of course they did.
And he had no idea what he was doing. Not a clue. Why are you taking your mother's bras? I don't know. And we had this, our relationship was him asking questions, me saying, I don't know. That's basically what we got through. And so if you're out there and you're looking for mental health therapy, keep looking. If you go to a therapist and it doesn't work out, Go to another therapist. Keep trying.
It's
just
a personal
because one
relationship, exactly.
Yeah, just
But
because one doesn't fit, keep looking.
They are people, and you also have to accept that there are good students and not good students, and it's just as easy for someone with a real lack of insight to get their degree and ability to counsel as there is. And there are people who actually do it strictly to put forth their political or social agenda. But on the whole, you got to know that they're at least trying to help. I mean, you don't get into that line of work to not help, but I have heard some of the most ignorant shit come from mental health professionals, especially, again, due to religion. I've had dealings where, like, I've been in court and me and the shrink are working together and we're all great and blah, 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 and I'm the smartest thing he's ever seen. And then they go to my house and they see, some, like, a book by Edward Gorey of pictures or some, or we have something called Pigatory. It's a little teeny pig with horns, I mean, we're pretty tongue-in-cheek around my neck of the woods, but we enjoy the whole devil mystique. It's great shit. The shit I saw on my psychological evaluation, she's brilliant, and she's this, and she's empathetic, but she's all fucked up because there's devils in her house, And so you do need to take into account that people are people with their biases. But that doesn't mean that they don't know someone will help you, or by virtue of continuing, you don't give yourself reason to continue.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes all you need today. The bad thing goes away.
A million times I've wondered, had we tried another therapist back when I was, 15, 16, going through this, would I have come to terms with my gender identity a whole lot earlier than I did and been able to work through that? I don't know.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Either.
And
it's
again,
irrelevant though, because
looking.
it didn't.
No, right, sure. We are where we are. Right.
And you seem pretty good about it. I mean,
I have a good therapist now, and I will add to that, I have a good therapist now. However, I haven't seen her in a while. And I haven't seen her in a while because we have employer-provided health care. And it's good. We have good health care. And even at that, you get 6 free visits for EAP. And once those are gone, it's a $35 copay.
No, it's $65.
$65. Oh, yeah, it's a specialist.
It's $65.
$65 copay. Who the fuck can afford a $65 copay?
Nobody.
If you want to fix the problems of crime, if you want to fix the problems of sexual assault, name a problem in our society today, the solution, I think, in large part, goes to mental health treatment. And I believe that any person, I guess say it again, any person in this country should be able to walk into a clinic and say, I need help, and get help. Period.
Without them immediately hospitalizing you.
I will pay more.
Or fleecing you.
Yeah.
Right. We're about to be turned into collections for inability to pay a medical bill, and I will still pay more in taxes for your right to be able to walk into a mental health clinic and get help.
I think education. I've never found it that crazy that Trump was like, "Yeah, send in the people from Norway." Oh, you mean that socialist country?
Socialist.
But I mean, education and medical.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about how meritocracy. Can't have a meritocracy when people start in a different place.
Yeah.
A real meritocracy, everyone has access to education and healthcare, so that when they're actually then competing, they're competing from the same starting point. That would be a meritocracy. If it's based on socialism, you know what? If the president can claim he's a nationalist, why is anyone pissed off about the word socialism?
Right?
It's like, Jesus, good job. Pick a freak out and stick with it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we could just do education and healthcare, that would be.
Yeah, that would be a great start.
Good start.
Incredible. Right?
Our representative, Kelly Stargell. vote Bob Doyle.
Please.
If you
He's
have-
such a
listen,
sweet.
If
He
you haven't
really
yet,
is. I love him.
He's a good guy.
yeah. And he says, don't test that going into the church burst into flames thing. I love
Okay,
Bob.
all right, just so you
Bob,
know,
you're great.
if anybody, after 37 years as
If
a
anybody's gonna
proclaimed
burst into
witch,
flames.
and I walk into churches regularly, I think they're spectacular
There you
as
go.
architecture, and and I also to protest stupid devil worshippers who occasionally vandalize them. No, a Satanist respects other people's property rights, but more importantly, we respect aesthetics. You don't mess with a beautiful thing because stupid people use it.
Right.
I mean, and churches are beautiful.
Sure.
So don't mess with them. Leave them alone. It's none of your business. Go away.
I hope we'll end this political conversation. I hope for some change. You remember when Obama was running on hope and change? I miss that.
I was so happy the day I did that vote. I remember it so vividly. I remember getting ready to go vote and putting on my lipstick and being like, I'm going to vote for the first black president.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited.
Right.
It was crazy.
I watched some of the campaign rallies that he's doing, the Get Out the Boat rallies that he's doing
At least
now.
our side was happy.
Oh.
I was laughing my ass off. That was
He's got some
So
great
good.
one-liners too. What is it? Don't boo, vote.
I'm going to pull out Don't Boo Vote, and I'm going to use that, a lot in the show. All right, so we're excited about Andrew Gillum. I really, God, Ron DeSantis is such a fucking racist. And the dog whistling started right after he's don't monkey this up, right?
Yeah, there was nothing racist.
Oh,
Don't
no,
monkey this
absolutely
up,
not.
and then not long after the robocalls came in with the jungle monkey
That
sounds.
voice was absolutely.
Hiya, I was Andrew Gillum,
It
and
was
I was
Amos and
running
Andy
for
circa 1920. It was absolutely
Yeah.
revolting.
Yeah, worse than Song of the South. Like more racist
Oh,
than
so
Song
much
of the
more.
South.
So much more.
So I'm excited about Andrew Gillum. Bill Nelson, vote for Bill Nelson. Again, I'm not excited because
Vote for me. I'm better than the other guy.
Yeah,
There
I
you
just
go.
don't
He
see a
can't
lot of.
he can't really fuck anything up, but I don't see progress there.
No, but we
No.
need
But-
to keep
Right.
a blues senator.
Exactly.
Please God, we
Right.
can't lose any more blues.
Darren Soto,
Yeah.
he's done a lot.
He's another one that
I
I'm
would-
not excited about, but it's just like
Carlos Guillermo Smith.
Carlos is
I love
amazing.
Carlos Guillermo Smith, friend of the show.
Anna
Bob
Eskamani.
Doyle, we're big fans of Bob Doyle. Anna Eskamani. There are a lot of great.
The amendments are interesting too.
Yeah, we did a whole breakdown. Was that last week? We did that.
yeah, I guess so.
You should
Yeah.
have seen me at the Cracker Barrel talking to my husband about the amendment to okay, so do I do yes or no? I was like, well, it's not quite.
Mostly no. A few yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Those bundles will get you every time.
I had every intention. I did ran out of time. I had every intention of pulling some pirate audio because you're not supposed to use it. Pirate audio of the Florida committee that's Rick Scott and Pam Bondi and a couple of right that their job clemency board right.
Yeah.
Their job is to 4 times a year or so they have ex-cons come in and plead on your knees, plead your case. I need to have my voting rights back. I listened to an NPR story about this, and it broke my fucking heart. And I watched the most recent, the June clemency board hearing, and I didn't have enough time to pull anything out for it. But it broke my heart. I mean, here you have people who are 60, 70 years old. They're like, look, 20 years ago, I did a thing, and it was bad, and I fucked up. But my life since then has been great. I've been doing all of these wonderful things. I'm married to this wonderful person, and we have children.
I paid my debt.
And our children are doing great. I served my time. I paid my debt. I did my parole. And please let me vote again. And then Rick Scott's like, nope, deny. Because the process is Rick Scott, Pam Bondi, and 2 board members sit together, and you have to get 3 yeses. If Rick Scott says no, you're done.
Is that him as the governor?
Yes.
Well, that's why he has to go. That solves that little problem. And Pam Bondi can kiss my shiny white ass. Because she is one of the most incredibly hypocritical human beings. You know, I really have, and I admit it, this is a bias. When I see women claiming that strength is pretending to be the biggest asshole man you've ever met, that's not strength. That's kowtowing. It doesn't impress me. It's like suddenly they turn into Janine Pirro or whatever, and they're just like really, really damaged and she's insane.
Oh, she is.
She didn't used to be. Here's the crazy thing. I worked in, of all places, Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, the biggest women's prison in New York State.
We have to have you back. This is so good.
She was normal. I swear. In fact, she was one of the like real founders of the movement that took women's rape seriously. Her and Linda Fairstein, the author. And somewhere, I don't know if she got kicked in the head by a horse. I don't know what her issue is, but I have watched her get progressively more nuts.
Yeah.
And Trump was never a nice guy. We actually had some of the same circles in New York. He was never nice. He was always a pompous frat boy asshole. But he wasn't, knocked down, drag out, dumb as a dish. I don't know what happens to people who get like this. Is it disconnect or is it just, and again, this is Magistra Ygraine saying that the Church of Satan has no political position and everyone I'm offering is mine exclusively. Thank you.
Vote Bob Doyle. I'll put my
Andrew
hat
Gillum.
on.
Yay.
Andrew Gillum, Bob Doyle.
Yeah.
Bob Doyle served as a judge for many, many years, and he was the one who pushed for all of these rape kits that were sitting on the shelves. The rape test.
Yeah.
Let's do something with those, please. Let's get something done. Vote Bob Doyle. Okay, let's move on to the very last segment for tonight.
Ooh.
I told you we weren't going to go 3 hours, but we're 2.5.
Well, it happens.
So the very last segment we have for tonight. No longer am I going to say the best story start with.
Yeah, I lost my job.
No. Because listen, here's what started the Florida man meme. A Twitter account I think it's _Florida man. Twitter account started this whole Florida man meme, and their deal was like Florida man is the worst superhero that one could imagine, right? And so in that vein, we're doing a contest. If you want to do a Florida Man theme song, please do. Brent sent us one that was just fantastic, and we're rescheduling our interview with him as well, and the Unapologetics podcast. But I thought, in the light of the world's worst superhero, we would make our own theme song. So Becca and I did a little recording of our own theme song.
If it'll play.
Yeah, if it'll play. Exactly.
I'm not singing it live, so you can kiss my shiny white ass.
Everybody's ass is shiny.
All right, here we go. Ready? To the Gator Mobile. Let's go.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Florida man, Florida man, Florida man. Florida man, Florida man, Florida man. Da 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 da. Florida man.
There you go. That's the. If you want to record a theme song and send it to us, we'd much rather play it than whatever that was.
You can't see me because I'm behind the camera, but I'm cringing over here.
Yes, so the idea was that started this whole Florida man meme was a Twitter account that said, like, look at all these idiot Floridians who are doing stupid things. It's the world's worst superhero. It really is. So our two stories tonight. people often do stupid and crazy pranks on Halloween. I tried to do a little Halloween Florida man for you tonight. And Florida man is no exception. An 18-year-old Florida man climbed down a 30-foot well in Volusia County Wednesday just to say he could do it. Well, he did it. But what he didn't count on was needing Volusia County Fire and Rescue's technical team to get him back out. His friends, ages 19 and 20, Florida men in their own right, tried to pull him out with a rope tied to an SUV.
Oh my God.
So picture this. You're down in the well because you're like, I can do this. I'll climb down the well. I'll climb back out. I got this. And then you don't.
Well. Looks like you got yourself stuck.
He was stuck in the well for about an hour before the rescue team was able to pull him up.
Well, his reason was to see if he
could. See if I can do it. Yeah, I think I can do it. I'll go down.
Oh my God.
I'll climb back up.
Imagine not knowing yourself well enough that you actually have to try shit like that because I want to know if I can.
Right?
Really?
Yeah. What I want to know is, as they were pulling him with the rope, was he trying to like climb it like a rock wall, or was he just like holding on?
The whole point of him
it was probably a
shit.
whiny little bitch. Get me out of here right now.
Probably.
Guys.
Anybody still there?
And an outside competitor tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. A Louisiana man.
Same difference.
Called police saying he'd been attacked by someone with an axe, claiming that someone stabbed him in the head, which I don't think is how axes work. I'm not entirely sure. Not a big proponent of axes, but I don't think you stab with an axe. That's not... You just like spit all over the computer.
Oh my God. Went up my nose.
Hate it when that happens.
Oh.
Sorry, babe.
Better up the nose than in the eyeball.
But I'll have to mix that in later. I'm too drunk to care.
Oh my God. Okay.
Now, when deputies arrived, the story gets even better. When deputies arrived, they found the caller, 59-year-old Michael Ottenberry, at his front door, cursing at people who were obviously not there.
Oh shit.
He wasn't calm and started cursing at them too, so they placed him in handcuffs for their own safety.
Which always improves the situation.
After looking him over, they found no indication of any injury to the head with an axe. Arrest records show he also told deputies that intruders were inside the home, but when they went inside, nobody. They did find a small open paper bag containing a gram of meth in plain view on a nightstand, as well as a gram of meth on Ottenberry himself. When asked about the meth, Ottenberry said it was the intruders, who he now saw climbing out through a nearby window. When police confirmed that there were no intruders, he said, "A ghost did it!"
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Drugs are bad.
So,
right.
So,
drugs are
okay.
Okay. It's totally a drugs are bad situation.
Oh, man.
I remember doing talk shows, and they always said without Florida, we'd have nothing.
Right? So your choices tonight are, you beat me to the punch. Well. And Ghost-O-Gram.
Oh my God. Wow. I've got to give it to the crazy axe guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You mean the meth head?
The meth head.
The meth head.
Right.
Yeah.
The guy seeing
there is
people,
no euphemism here.
Seeing people
The
climb
guy in the well
through
is
the
an
window.
18-year-old punk, and he probably might have been drunk, but meth does bad things to your brain, man.
Something about sulfur and ether.
Right. Oh.
I think so too. I think I'm going with the
Yeah,
Ghost-O-Gram.
it's like no contest. Almost.
Yeah.
Glad you did the well first, though, because it would have been a letdown if you had reversed them.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Russell says ghost.
Ghost. Anybody else? Victoria's in the chat.
Waiting.
Russell says, you are insane. That was the biggest ripoff ever. What is the matter with you? The beginning was good, but the song ruined it. You have a problem with our Florida Man song?
Then write your own, jackass.
There you go.
Ruined it?
Well, you know.
So, I think Ghost is the winner.
Let's hear it for meth heads in Louisiana.
Yeah, right?
Congratulations.
Louisiana. I tried. There were other Florida Man stories, but I tried specifically to find things that were like Halloween themed-ish.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nothing like getting stabbed in the head with an axe on Halloween.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Stabbed.
Do you just kind of go like that?
Yeah.
Is that how that's done?
Right, like, I mean, if you're an axe,
Well,
right?
Dad says ghost.
If you're an axe, you kind of look like that, right? And you got a handle here. And so there's a kind of a pointy part here, maybe, where the axe.
Yeah, but you can't like
But
stab with like a stab is like it goes
Thrust.
all the way in.
Right.
Like you can.
We're actually debating the merits of axe stabbing. I think that's probably not good.
Well, again, Florida Man is the world's worst superhero.
Russell said he's being sarcastic. See you Tuesday. I guess.
Good.
I don't know what I guess means.
You listen. You better be here Tuesday because I'm not cooking. Tuesday night we're going to do an election live results special as results come in. We're gonna have some friends call in from around the country. We have some. I think it's almost every time zone that's represented.
I think so.
So that's good.
We'll have an in-house chef because I like to put my brother to work.
Right.
Good thing.
Right. And then next week on Tuesday we're gonna do the.
You're killing me with these Tuesdays.
I'm sorry. Look. Am I killing you or am I killing me? I have to get up.
Well, at least the other Tuesday is in the middle of the day. Like, I'm just thinking school night crap.
Well, I took the night off of work for election night.
Yeah. Well, I know. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the kid.
Yeah, that's true. I'm worried about me. So election night is good. And then the following week on Tuesday, we're going to do a midday record with Objectively Dan.
Mm-hmm.
And that means I didn't take the day off work that night because I work overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to come home.
Take a nap.
Get up, get up, record with Dan, go back to bed, try to go back to bed. You know how that works.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. But I think Mandy's going to come over for that one with Objectively Dan.
Yeah.
And that'll be good because Mandy has some God beliefs that are interesting. Mm-hmm. And I'm dying to get Britton on the show.
I know.
Again.
Britton, come on.
Britton.
Get your ass in here.
So Britton, we talked to him on episode 2, I believe.
Yeah, I can't believe that. It's been like 3 years.
He grew up in a family where his dad was a preacher, pastor, who they studied the Bible in like Greek and Hebrew. Like that's how deep this has been studied. And while he has not said the A word, recently he has been making posts that very clearly make it seem like he's the atheist.
But he also makes posts about
Ghosts
supernatural
and shit.
ghosts and stuff that he believes, and he's had these experiences where he sees things.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of.
But I think a lot of
different-
that, I mean, when you're raised in a culture that believes that the supernatural is real, period, to start with,
Yeah.
then other things can attach to that easily. That use the same kind of the same kind of logic that if God exists, I can't see God, and God's a spirit. Well, spirit, ghosts exist. I think you can make that kind of
many sects though
connection.
Don't though. Many sects really do feel that anything other than the basic God, devil, angel, demon paradigm,
right,
is a man-made contrivance and therefore actually a thing of the said devil. So, I mean, it's weird, I mean, I'm fascinated by pre-Catholic church Christian documentation, I mean, fascinated at the books that didn't make it in, all that shit. It's hard to, you can't really, I mean, unless they're sitting there, again, telling you, you're doing this because God said blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously for all of us, if we didn't know some reasonable, rational Christians, we'd have no fucking friends. Okay? Because they are,
Absolutely.
Very true.
Hey, let's wrap this thing up. It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for coming in. This has been so fun.
I had a great time.
Come back again.
I like you.
I would like a list
time.
of all of your alter egos. I'm going to book them each in individual slots.
And I do different hairstyles. No, I'm only kidding. I used to. I once did it for a pro-choice march. Just I dyed my hair blonde.
That's awesome.
Wore
Wow.
glasses, the whole 9 yards. I had to give a press conference, and all the reporters knew me, and they're all like, "You got us, didn't you?" I was like,
All right.
You got anything else?
No, I want to thank our patrons at patreon.com/SarahTalk. You can go to SarahTalk.com, click on the support us link if that's easier for you. If you want to join our great patrons over at Patreon, you get access to early episodes. We post them first to patrons. There's occasionally some Patreon-only content. We need to do the second half of the Snake Handler guy yet. That's still to come.
God, I can't.
All of the videos that we
get
do.
The stomach for that one first.
So when we do the Facebook Live, the video, I download it, I block it on Facebook, and then I upload it to Patreon and YouTube, and it's available for about a month for free. If you want access to the archives and see, some of the older shows in video format, you can do that at patreon.com/SarahTalk as well. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts if that's not a thing that you've done yet. And I'll read the reviews. I think those are fun.
They're fun, yeah.
That's a good time. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever you listen to the show, go and give us a 5-star rating. I think that would be great. Tuesday, be here.
What time?
8 o'clock. We're going to start broadcasting, I think, around 8 o'clock.
Okay.
As results come in for the midterm elections, we'll be doing that. Ygraine, thank you so much for coming in.
SarahTalk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. The opinions and information provided on this show are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of the hosts and their guests. We make no representations as to accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors or damages. SarahTalk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.